Oh, shoot. Okay, I guess that's how it worked. That's not how it usually does it, but I guess there were some changes that were made in updates, so that might have been why we just randomly came on. That's not usual, but I guess it is what it is. But basically, welcome to the 12th episode of Coaster Time, hosted by me, Carrick from Coaster Hour. And if you are new, how these live streams work is basically I go through various different segments such as news, trivia, Q&A discussions, and more. And you, the viewers, can participate in many of these segments. And of course, today I am joined by an incredible guest, the one and only Sean Flaherty. And so since you are a new guest to the stream, if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, where to find you, that would be fantastic.
Sure. First thing, can you hear me correctly?
Yeah, we're pretty good. I guess after I guess as you talk through the intro, we'll kind of feel it out and make sure, because I want to
Okay,
make
because
sure.
I was
Yeah.
having issues with this mic. But yeah, my name is Sean Flaherty. I have a YouTube channel under my name. And obviously, since I'm on Coaster Hour, it has a lot to do with coaster writing and stuff like that, and a lot of vintage things and some other stuff. So you can only find me on my YouTube channel, which is SeanFlaharty, which I'm sure Carrick will put all the links in there. And believe it or not, I think this is only the second time I've actually done one of these kind of video live things. So if we have any issues, I apologize. So, and I don't do any other social media. So that's where you can find me.
Already awesome. I do have a link to his YouTube in the description. So if you want to check that out, make sure to do that. And yeah, if we have issues, that's all right. Let me just make sure, is the audio coming out all fine for you guys? Let me know in the chat real quick. And then once we get the good to go, I guess basically we'll go straight into the news, and that'll be that, which I'll pull up right now, actually. So.
All righty.
All right, let me just make sure. Looks like, okay, audio is good. Great. Fantastic. Alrighty, so with that being said, we're going to head straight into the news. This is mostly news from the last kind of like 2 weeks, but there will be some things in here that are a little bit older, such as this, of course, one of the biggest pieces of news, basically of the entire year, probably. Hershend has acquired Kentucky Kingdom. This came out like, what, 3 weeks ago, something like that. But obviously a huge acquisition, probably going to mean a lot of changes for Kentucky Kingdom. They're going to expand the operating season, bring in a Christmas event, focus on broadening the audience and bringing in families, along with general park improvements, just overall in appearance and everything. And they're going to bring cinnamon bread, so that's pretty fantastic. I have never gotten to go to this park, so I can't really say too much about it like beforehand, and I definitely never went when it was like Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom, but looks like an exciting new chapter for the park. So that's pretty exciting. Sean, if you have anything you want to add, you can.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised, to hear this. I had heard the rumor a few weeks prior, and it was one of those things where I just thought, oh, I'll believe it when I hear it or see it officially. And then when it was official, yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's gonna change that park. I'm really curious to see how what they're gonna do with the park eventually. I mean, obviously they're not gonna be able to tackle a lot of stuff early on, but it'll be interesting. That park's only 3 hours away from me, so I'm sure I will return plenty of times.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this whole transition process, what it looks like, especially because it's just such a short time before they're actually opening, but it'll be interesting. Our next bit of news, this is, for some it might be big, this is pretty small news, at least in terms of what I think of it, but Legoland Florida will open a new Peppa Pig theme park in 2022. This will be separate admission from Legoland. There's not really going to be any Legos tied to this. I don't really have much else to say, but it looks like a nice place for kids. Oh, and they are getting a kiddie coaster, so if you want the kiddie cred, yeah, there's one there, so that's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Peppa the Pig. I just know it's become kind of like a meme in the coaster world sometimes, and I haven't watched an episode or whatever Peppa Pig is. I don't even know if he's animated. So
it's an animated basically show, but yeah, it's become a meme in a lot of places. But I guess it is cool that it is becoming something a little larger. And then also staying in Florida, construction of Universal's Epic Universe is resuming. This is another one of those things that was pretty major. It was in limbo for a little bit, I think several months if I'm correct. But good to hear that it is being, they're resuming construction again. So that's awesome to hear. And this park looks absolutely fantastic. So I don't know when it'll open. I think they already said it's been delayed quite a bit. I mean, that's kind of obvious with the construction delays, but still very exciting. Looks really cool.
Absolutely. It's Islands of Adventure is probably my favorite park in the country. I've been going there since, opening year, and I have some friends that work on the creative side of Universal, and they haven't told me anything really specific about it, but they did say if I like Islands of Adventure, I'm really going to like this park. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I mean the lands. I mean, I guess a lot of it isn't official, but a lot of people have kind of speculated. I don't know if there's been specific leaks, but there's a lot of really exciting things that should be coming with this park. So I'm absolutely hyped to see it when it opens. Our next bit of news is that Conneaut Lake Park has been sold. It was sold for $1.2 million to Keldon Holdings, who people were wondering, are they going to use the land to operate the park? Or are they going to do something else with it? It sounds like that they will actually own and operate the park, which is good news. This park was one that was kind of for the last several years, people were like, what's going to happen with it? But it looks like for now, at least, it's safe and it's been sold to a new operator. So that's good news for this park.
Really great news. I mean, that park has just had a really, really rough history. And I have, admittedly, I mean, it's not that too far away. And I've only been there maybe 3 or 4 times. And it kind of hurt to just see that park just in shambles, just kind of not fading away necessarily, but it needed help. And hopefully this is the help it gets.
Yeah, for sure. This park, I had heard it was just not in the best of condition, and hearing from you, yeah, you're pretty close to it and you haven't been to it all that much. Yeah, but hopefully it'll get the uplift and just renovations and everything it deserves because, I mean, it is an older, more classic park, so there aren't a whole lot like it out there left, so definitely would be a good thing to preserve then. Next bit of news, Chance Rides has unveiled the new Looping Hyper GTX. This is a variant of their Hyper GTX model with inversions. This was this advertisement was found in Amusement Today's latest issue, which you can access it online. That's how I found it. Yeah, pretty exciting. Hopefully more of these actually sell than of course, the original Hyper GTX, which the only one we ever got was Lightning Run, but it looks pretty cool. It's just, we'll have to see if any of these will actually get built, but I like the idea.
Absolutely. I mean, I love the one at Kentucky Kingdom, man. That thing is so underrated, and anybody that's ridden it probably understands just how intense that thing is. And then, having that with inversions could probably be even better. So we'll find out. Hopefully someone or a couple parks have purchased this.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that would be really nice to see. Although I'd like to see even more of the regular hybrid GTXs. Don't know if that'll happen, but one can hope, I guess. Stunt Pilot at Silverwood has gone vertical. As you can see here, this was from the Silverwood Instagram, I believe. But yes, the track and supports are going up. This ride looks insane. I mean, it is a clone of the other ones, but it'll have the 10 cars, so it's going to be pretty crazy. And nice to see it going up after like just a few months after the announcement. It's good to see.
Absolutely. I've ridden both of the single rails that are currently operational, and they're among the most intense coasters I've ever ridden. And I rode the Texas one in November, and the thing that scares me about this ride is the 10-car train. I don't understand. that back row is going to be pretty crazy, I suspect.
Oh yeah, it's going to be crazy. I can't even imagine. I already thought Railblazer was crazy enough in the back row. I can't even imagine this thing. It's going to be wild.
Oh yeah.
Our next bit of news. I will have to make a correction here, but I'll get there when I get there. So basically, Six Flags, if you didn't know, they announced earlier, right, was it either last year or earlier this year, but at some point they said that they were going to remove 15 rides this season, or 15 attractions, I think is what they specifically said. We now know that 3 of them are Sky Buckets at Six Flags Over Georgia. That is their Sky Ride. Tumbleweed at Frontier City, which was a rotor ride, like a rotor flat ride. Pretty rare model, I believe, nowadays. And Zoomazon Falls, which was a set of water slides at Six Flags America's Hurricane Harbor. I did put here that Moon Antique Cars in Superman Tower of Power were also being removed. Those were removed from the Six Flags website. That might actually not mean anything, and I only learned about that not too long before the stream started. The other 3 are pretty much confirmed, like they were confirmed in other articles. Those 2 were just taken off the website. That may be maintenance related, but Tower of Power was rumored to be removed. There's been several rumors about it, so those 2 at St. Louis, who knows? And then there was also 2 other rides that I didn't have on here that also got removed off the website of Great Escape. There was Wahoo Racer, which is like a mat slide, and then there was also their Ferris wheel, Giant Wheel, which was also removed. Don't know if that's maintenance related or not, but if it turns out that all these rides are being removed, now we know that of 7 of the 15 rides being removed. But we'll have to kind of wait and see if that was a mistake or something like that. But basically, the first 3 I have here, those are confirmed to be removed. Pretty crazy stuff right now. Just that they're going to be removing like 15 attractions. I mean, it makes sense, but it's still unfortunate to see it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, the Sky Buckets were a lot of fun at Six Flags Over Georgia. I mean, I've only ridden them a handful of times, but anytime they take out a Sky Ride, it's pretty sad. And Superman Tower of Power, man, I rode that thing over 100 times in one ERT when it was at Astroworld in Houston. Yeah. And I have not ridden it since it's been at Six Flags St. Louis, but yeah, it was one of my favorite drop towers. So if they do end up removing that, I hope it goes somewhere else.
Yeah, I hope so. I would kind of doubt it, but I would really hope so because, yeah, it would also be losing a piece of Astroworld, which,
yeah,
obviously, that would not be a good thing. In some of our more kind of obscure news, a park in China called Silk Road Paradise, this will be opening in 2022, will be receiving an Intamin Zacspin, which is the coaster you can see on the right. Looks like it'll have some pretty cool, like, kind of theming around it, so that's awesome to see. And they will also be getting the world's first Golden Horse flying coaster, as you can see here on the left, which it very much looks like kind of like their take on the Dutchman model. I have no clue how it's going to ride, but it's definitely something I wasn't really expecting to see. Looks pretty nuts, actually. Yeah, that's just something that came about. Not too many people know about this, but that was something that kind of came about, I think, earlier this week.
That Golden Horse flyer, I mean, good luck, number one. I also heard they were trying to copy a B&M flyer, so maybe it'll be a kind of a mix, kind of like their strange dive coaster is. But that Intamin Zacspin, I did the prototype in Finland at, was it Linnanmäki, Kurnu?
Yeah,
a lot of times, and I really like that. So I did not like the larger version, like the one at Magic Mountain. That was one of the worst things I've ever ridden in my life. They used to be there, I should say. But yeah, I want to see what Golden Horse does. I mean, I'm curious to see if B&M or whoever will try to sue them for that, but we'll see.
Yeah, their Golden Horse is an interesting manufacturer, that's for sure. When it comes to some of their creations. The layouts of Turbo Turtle Power and SeaWorld Abu Dhabi's Intamin launch coaster have come out. These are 2 Intamin launch coasters that are coming within the next few years, basically. I can't show the layouts because it was actually, I guess, kind of leaked from a magazine that you'd have to pay for, and I didn't want to put that on here. But there are some No Limits videos that have been made based off the layout. So if you want to check those out, I have links to those No Limits creations in the description. This is a picture of SeaWorld Abu Dhabi, and the blue coaster out in front is that Intamin launch coaster I mentioned. But the layouts have sort of come out in like kind of a weird way, and people are making no limits creations. So if you didn't know about that, that's going on. The SeaWorld one looks very much like a mock coaster, which is pretty strange. And Turbo Turtle Power will be a launch coaster with 8 inversions, so that'll be pretty wild. Have you heard of either of these before?
I have not actually. I'm just as surprised to see this as probably you when you found it. I mean, maybe someday I'll get there and get to check those rides out. It's definitely one of the places on my bucket list. The whole area. There's just so much stuff in that area.
Oh,
so
yeah, for
if
sure.
it's open and ready to go, I'll try to get there someday. You know.
Yeah, this park's a pretty it's there. It's a work in progress, but they're seemingly it seems like they're getting they're progressing quite a bit for SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. Our next bit of news. This might seem insignificant at first, but yes, Frito-Lay is a new chip partner of Six Flags, likely replacing Takis. If you've been to any Six Flags park, you know how many you probably know that there's a lot of advertisements that have to do with Takis. So they might have to change that now. I even joke that Tatsu's like themed to Takis. They just have so many advertisements of it in their station. So they might have to change that now. And the other kind of weird thing about this, I know some people care a lot about Coca-Cola or Pepsi. This is in no way confirmed, but Frito-Lay is owned by Pepsi. The new CEO of Six Flags used to work as an executive for Pepsi. Six Flags currently has Coca-Cola products. That contract, I found it. It'll expire in either 2022 or 2023 because it was 10 years at the beginning of 2013. So it might be possible we could see Pepsi products like kind of replace Coca-Cola products. I don't know if we'll see it, but it's just kind of really weird to kind of see this now that something other than Takis is, I guess, going to be their partner. Not much else to say, but it's just kind of something I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I mean, I know that. I mean, I don't know how it is nowadays because I don't really read forums or any of that stuff. But I mean, back then, back in like the early 2000s, if a park was a Coke park or a park was a Pepsi park, there was always this kind of rift. Like, man, they need to go to Pepsi, or no, they need to go. I'm sure that's still around, but it's interesting when parks incorporate new branding or whatever. But then you have to wonder. I mean, was it just that the time expired, or did that brand somehow screw up? You know, we'll never know.
That's true. It was interesting that I didn't know that the new CEO of Six Flags used to be an exec for Pepsi, and that's why I'm thinking they're probably eventually gonna make the switch because they already made the switch to some other chips. But yeah, you're right. It could have been something that like Takis messed up or something, but we don't really know, I guess. Lightning Rod has opened with the new iBox track. Just opened yesterday, I believe, for a preview. I think it officially opens to the public today. I may be wrong on that, but it did open for preview day yesterday. Had a few issues, but people who wrote it, from what I've heard, it sounds pretty good. Not a whole lot of reviews are out there, though, from what I understand. But good to see. Hopefully that these changes will make Lightning Rod operate a lot more consistently, because that has, of course, been a very large issue for this coaster throughout its basically lifetime.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it took me 4 or 5 visits to finally get on that ride, and then when I finally, every time I've been there since, it's been running pretty consistent. But I'm very interested to try the new version. I understand it even sounds differently because that new track, but someone last night sent me kind of a diagram of what's been retracked and what hasn't been retracked, and I'm curious to see if you will notice that big of a difference while we're going into the old track, you know, as opposed. That's the kind of geek in me thinking that, I want to see that transition. I want to know if we can feel it or any of that stuff. So I'll find out soon, hopefully.
There was a I believe Coaster Force put it out there. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there was a POV, a reverse POV, like kind of near where the wheels are, and you can actually, I mean, I guess it's not that surprising, but you can hear when it goes from steel to wood, like it makes a different noise. That's, I guess, not that surprising, but it was just kind of cool to hear. I think that came out like yesterday. So
I will check that out.
yeah, it's pretty cool actually. In other Dollywood news, Mystery Mine has received some modifications. A lot of people were upset about this. They took this basically short drop that was it was very short, but it was nearly like vertical. I think it had a very steep angle, and they also took the weird overbank that it used to have in the middle of the layout and replaced it with a less steep drop and a more kind of traditional turn into the next sort of break section. A lot of people got upset about this. I don't believe anyone's written it. I don't think it has opened unless it opened today, because it was still testing yesterday. But that is something that happened. So pretty interesting.
Very interesting. I mean, personally speaking, I didn't think that part of the ride was very bad. But then again, I don't ride it very often. So I know they make changes like this, not because of folks like us, not because of enthusiasts, but because of the general public, or maybe it was a maintenance issue with the trains or something, who knows, but it's definitely looks different. It's going to be interesting.
That for sure. I mean, I guess I can only speculate, but my guess is that it probably wasn't the most comfortable part of the ride, and I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate this change. Probably more on the not necessarily coaster enthusiasts, but just the most visitors probably going will probably they'll probably enjoy this more because maybe that section wasn't was pretty rough for some of them. So it makes sense to why they could change it. I mean, there could be for another reason, but that's just my kind of guess. And then for the rest of these are going to be opening dates. Amusement and theme parks in California will be allowed to reopen April 1st. They might have even made it even sooner. I had heard something about it. I couldn't find out if it was like confirmed or not before this, but I'm just going to say April 1st. And some of the parks, it sounds like they're going to open a little later, although to be expected because probably getting all the staff back and everything and training and everything is going to take a while. So they'll open a little later after this, but definitely good to hear and see for sure, especially for someone like me who lives in California, has been waiting for parks to reopen for over a year at this point. So pretty crazy.
I feel for you. I mean, it was bad enough for our parks here in Ohio to open up in July, but it was a very kind of similar thing where they announced they were going to be able to open. However, they weren't ready exactly right for opening. They had to get more staff in and stuff, but I have to hand it to the Ohio parks. I mean, I did some Pennsylvania parks, Texas parks, and Ohio parks, and every park felt very safe. And from what those parks learned through this whole past summer, I'm sure they've incorporated what they've learned into these parks that are about to open in your area to make it an even more seamless transition. Hopefully, I would hope that's something that would happen.
Probably, because a lot of our bigger parks, like they have other parks in other parts of the U.S., like the chain ones. Like actually, yeah, pretty much almost all our major parks here. Yeah, we have other parks in the U.S. that have already opened. So it'll probably be nicer just to have that. They won't have to, I guess, maybe have as difficult of a learning curve as some of these other places had, just because they already know what certain things are like. In other news, Tornado Springs. This is a new area going to Paulton's Park in the United Kingdom. This will open on April 12th. It'll open with 8 new attractions. The 2 standout ones will be Storm Chaser, not the RMC, but in this case, a clone of Sierra Sidewinder at Knott's Berry Farm, which is a very good ride, so good to see that. And they'll also be getting Cyclonator, which is a frisbee ride. That'll be, I think, the most thrilling ride in the park. They're advertising it as that. I think Mr. Color Roaster, you're actually, I think you mentioned this in the Discord. I see you in the comments. You mentioned you were going here on the first day, so that's awesome. Yeah, that should be pretty cool. This area looks pretty nice from the concept art I've seen, so it'll be cool to kind of see that actually open. It looks pretty nice.
I have never been there. I need to get back to the UK. I haven't been there since 2002.
Yeah, this place is kind of risen more recently with it's more of a family park, but they've been getting some nice additions here and there. So
Yeah, don't they have do they have a Gerstlauer bobsled coaster there, if I'm not mistaken? Or maybe I'm thinking another park.
you might be right. I don't remember the coaster collection off the top of my head, but it's possible they might have one. Yeah. Monster at Gronalund is opening on April 24th. This is, of course, the B&M invert, a very compact one. I have no clue how they were able to fit this thing into this park, but and I've never even been, so but this park, it's like super cramped. Pretty crazy that they were able to fit this thing in, but that will be opening on April 24th, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been to that park, but it was before Twister, the wooden coaster, was added, and
Yeah.
I was amazed. I really, really loved that park. It had a very kind of a similar vibe to those that have been to Indiana Beach. They'll understand. Just everything stacked on every top of each other. But I have to get back there as well, man. That is a must for me. I'm a huge, huge fan of being an inverted coaster. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. First one in 7 years. That's insane because Banshee was the last one.
Yeah.
And then what? First one in like 9 years to actually have the traditional over-the-shoulder restraints, something like that. Pretty crazy. It will not have the vest restraints. Which
Sure, and I
nice.
I can understand that because the clearances with those wider trains that are on Banshee. I know a lot of people were asking early on, a couple years ago actually, why Raptor doesn't get Banshee trains, and they're wider. There would be clearance issues. So with the smaller, the less wide trains, that makes a lot of sense on this one, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I had heard about it might have had to do with the clearances. That makes sense because it seemed kind of random. It was like, why would they do this? But yeah, the clearance thing makes a whole lot of sense. It makes more sense than I think anything else. And then our last sort of actual news announcement is that Remy's Ratatouille Adventure will be opening at Epcot on October 1st. I believe this will be the 50th anniversary attraction for that Disney World resort. I think it was originally supposed to be either Tron or Guardians, but of course, those have been delayed. Those probably won't open until 2022, but I guess they're going to have Ratatouille kind of serve as their 50th anniversary attraction. So, and of course, it's the clone of the one in Paris. So, haven't seen a POV of this ride. Don't plan to before I ride it because it's a dark ride. But I've heard great things about it, and Ratatouille is my favorite animated movie, so I'm very excited for this attraction.
Oh, very cool. I have a friend that was one of the first to ride the Paris ones, and he wasn't allowed to take his camera on the ride. But I would love to give that a ride sometime as well, for sure. It's just I love the way that Disney does their dark rides.
Oh yeah, they're so good at it, and yeah, I can't wait to get out to Epcot and Disney World as a whole because they have some incredible dark rides. Also Disneyland, so I'd like to go back there whenever I could. And our last announcement is, and this is outside of the news, I'll kind of go into this maybe a little later, actually on a community post. I'll have more information on a community post releasing, I think, later today. But for the first time ever, me and Jace from 808 Coaster Life will be hosting Guess the Coaster Live on the Coaster Hour Discord. I have a link to it in the description. There will be rules that are mentioned in the community post and on the Discord. But should be pretty exciting. We wanted to do more of the Discord, and so this is one of the ways we're doing it. So should be pretty exciting. And that is all the announcements, all the news for this episode. Quite a bit to go through, but that's I guess it's just been more interesting than maybe the past few months where there was maybe not quite as much. So with that being said, we'll move on to the first Q&A. And while we're doing the Q&A, I will also put up the code for the quiz so you guys can get on while you guys are asking questions, if that makes sense. I also have the code, I think, like pinned in the chat. So yeah, any questions you have, now would be the time to ask them.
Have you ever been stung by a bee on a coaster? I have, and I have it on video actually.
Oh my
I've been stung twice. Once on Goliath at Georgia on their media day, and then on Leap the Dips last year. Go figure. But I was recording POV on Leap the Dips, and a bee got me right in the back of the head. So not fun.
Dang, that's the first time we've actually gotten this question. Is a recurring question. This is the
Oh, is
first
it really?
time. Yeah, this is the first time we've ever gotten someone who's actually been stung by a bee on a coaster. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No,
not good, but I guess it's nice to see that. I guess, well, I guess it's not nice to see that someone has, but at the same time, it's just interesting. And you've been twice. That's crazy. I've never even been stung by a bee.
oh, it's
Um,
not fun. It's just when it happened at Georgia, it was in the afternoon, and I don't know if you guys know the layout very well, but right before one of the really powerful airtime hills, before it makes the left turn towards the station for that last little bunny hop, that last big airtime hill we were going over, and it looked like a cloud of gnats or something. It was a big cloud of
oh
bees, and of
no.
course, being coaster people, we had our arms up, and
Oh
it got me
no.
right here, and it, yeah, got stung. So it's never fun, and then it swells up and it makes your arm look weird and all that stuff. But yeah, twice. So
Now I'm not gonna put my arms up on Goliath. Or
I can't. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what vlog it was in. Whatever, it was the longest vlog I ever did. It was a 2 hour plus vlog last summer, and on near the end, whenever I'm writing Leap the Dips with Steve Surgeons when it happened. So yeah, I was quite shocked.
yeah, that is crazy. Um, oh, what's this? Did you know any of the original opening dates for the delayed 2020 coasters? No, I think this was more related to the news. Um, Not off the top of my head. Let's see. Have you ever been sick on a roller coaster?
Mm-mm, I have not on any ride ever in my life. I've been next to plenty of people that have gotten sick.
Oh, that's
Uh,
unfortunate.
Yeah, I was riding next to someone on the flipping ride, the zipper. If you guys know what those
Oh
are,
yeah, yes,
when
those
someone
rides are
got
crazy.
sick.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, it was pretty bad. So
Uh,
uh,
that's brutal. Um, let's see. Will you ride Candemonium this year? This is directed more towards you because I'm probably not. I'm probably not going to Pennsylvania this year. I'll say that much.
I don't think I'll make it to Hershey Park this year, but I did last year. And when I went, I was amazed that there was nobody literally in the park, and it was a beautiful day. I mean, it was a hot day. I probably rode Candemonium, I don't know, 10 times. I walked on the ride every time except like one time. And that ride really surprised me. It's easily my favorite coaster at Hershey Park.
Yeah, because you're definitely not a fan of Sky Rush. I've heard about that.
Oh yeah, I've tried it twice. I'm just one of those people that cannot seem to get a good ride on it. I mean, that's the only ride I can honestly say that I've ridden where probably 10 seconds after the first drop, I want to leave the ride. Like now I have to leave this ride, and I don't know. I know there's ways that people can ride it and it won't hurt them, but I can't figure out how to do it. So
Regardless, I would like to see. I mean, I don't know if they would do it at this point. The fact that they haven't is a little bit concerning, but it would be nice if they somehow were able to replace the restraints. I don't know how doable that is because it does have the wing seating, but I don't think Flying Aces has the same restraints. So whatever they use for that.
yeah, and it's the same with like if you look at the very first RMC, New Texas Giant, those Gerstlauer trains, the lap bars on those are where they hit your lap is like a triangle, and the bottom of the triangle is where it hits your lap, and then they fix that with Iron Rattler, which also has Gerstlauer trains, by just rotating it so the flat part of the triangle is on your lap, and that made just every difference in the world. So if they could somehow figure out, I don't know, like you said, maybe replacing the pads in a certain way or something. I don't know how they would do it, but yes, it needs new restraints. And I'm not
I
one to really complain about restraints. I'll just say that.
I mean, I don't know how doable it would be or if it would make sense, but the Tehran style restraints, if somehow they could put those on there, that'd be nice. Because they seem to be using that a lot. I don't know how doable that is though. Let's see what other questions we have. Man, it automatically scrolled down on me. Oh, favorite Japanese coaster.
Ooh, well, My favorite Japanese coaster is actually my all-time favorite coaster, period, and that's Dododampa.
Yeah.
It's just I love intense launches, and that is the most intense launch on planet Earth. And I won't be able to ride it ever again, even if I go over next year because of the age thing. I don't know how strict they are about enforcing that, but the last 2 rides I got on in 2019 were among the best I've ever gotten in my life. So.
Yeah, that's crazy because you said they recently
Since they reopened it.
that's crazy. Okay, wow. And so so now the age restriction's 50. That's hard. That's crazy. I can't believe they would lower it was like from 65 to 50. That's
Yeah, it
insane.
might have been like 70 or something when I first read it in '05. I can't remember exactly. It might have been 65, but I was much younger back then. And then when I said, "Oh, I'll be riding this way before, plenty of times before I turn 65," and then it's like, "Uh-oh," So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Favorite dark rides that we've been on that no one talks about.
Oh man.
That is
Uh,
okay. You
Let
can
me.
go. You can go.
Well, just the same park, Fuji Q has a dark ride that I don't even know the name of. We were literally walking out of the park when we found it. It was tucked away in this little building, but it's completely dark. You wear headphones, and there's people that touch you, like while you're in a car. It's not a walkthrough; it's a cart thing, and twice you get grabbed and touched on your shoulders and back while you're riding. It really is really, really great. So highly recommended.
Yeah, I only heard about that ride because of your guys' trip, so I didn't even know about that before. That thing sounds crazy.
I didn't even know it was there in '05. Maybe it wasn't, but it does some really kind of cool things. I don't want to spoil it while you're in there. That no other dark ride does as well.
I'm just trying to think. I'm probably just gonna throw one out there because the problem is I haven't been to Disneyland even though I've lived in California since 2012. I think one of those rides would probably be on there, but since I haven't been, it makes it very difficult, and I just haven't been on a whole lot of unique dark rides because it's just hard. I did kind of like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride though. I mean, I guess a lot of people kind of talk about it, but when I was younger, I liked that, so I'll have to go with that as my answer. Let's see. I'm trying to see what we got here. Actually,
I
we're
see
gonna.
one.
Wait, hold on. Do you want to answer this or?
Well, I just saw the one from Coaster Keychain about what's it like
Yeah.
to go to the theme park. It's different for sure, depending on which park you go to. But parks, I will still say, are very, very safe. Just because if you don't follow their COVID protocols, you will be asked to leave the park or not even enter the park. And so it took a little while to get used to, with the masks and everything. But to me, they're safer than going to get groceries. I know Carrick and myself have both had COVID, and I know I didn't get that from a park. So I will continue to still go to parks.
Yeah, I haven't been, so I guess talking to you about that before was definitely very interesting because it's something that I'll be doing relatively soon. I don't know if that's in the next month or longer, whenever, but it'll be happening sooner than I would have expected like a few months ago. Although it might be in another state, funny enough, but that's just that's just how things kind of went, I
Sure.
guess.
It's the nature of the hobby, man.
Most underrated coaster in Europe. Actually, I haven't written anything. I'll let you. Well, if you will have an answer for this or one that you think isn't
I'm
talked
gonna
about
get
a lot.
I'm gonna get ridiculed for this. I know I am. I only read it twice, but I did Nemesis at Alton Towers. I'm sorry. I wrote it in the back row for the first time. I didn't care for it. Wrote it at the front, the second ride. It's very visual, but it's definitely not the most intense coaster that everybody makes it out to be. They even have a sign saying the world's most intense coaster experience. I know that's all marketing stuff, but definitely for me, I think that's overrated.
The question was actually underrated, but
Oh, underrated. I'm sorry.
underrated. No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
all right. No, but yeah,
I
that's a
really
good
messed
answer
that
though.
up.
That might have been a question later.
Oh,
So.
underrated. Oh, I'd have to think about that one to get back, because I haven't been there in so long. So
All right, we'll maybe get back to that one in a little bit.
yeah.
Um, let's see. I'll answer a few more questions and we'll move on to the quiz. And then if you have a question that we didn't answer, there will be other Q&A sessions later, so you can ask it then. So with that being said, I'm just trying to look through. What new countries would you like to go to for new coasters?
Ooh. I was supposed to have a trip that was going to be this year to China, and obviously that's not happening. Man, anywhere in the Middle East, that would be great. Although I have to be careful, and I know it's very hot there, and I'd have to wear long sleeve shirts because tattoos are a big no there. So that might be a little bit different. But any place I haven't been to, quite honestly, any country I haven't been to, I want to go to. I've been to 14 now, and I know people that have like 50 or more, way more.
Yeah.
Visits to countries. That would be great someday.
For me, since I've only been to and only ridden coasters in United States and Mexico, I'll go with Japan just because. Actually, Japan and Germany are pretty close, but I'll take Japan for. Yeah.
Those are two of my favorite places in the world. Just not only just for coasters, but just to ride. I really love visiting those places. So.
Yeah, both of them have a lot of cool things to do, even outside of like parks and everything. A lot of countries do, but those two especially. It says the quiz already has finished. I'll have to check on that in a little bit. I guess I'll do the last question here, which will be. I'm just trying to see which. If there's one you want to answer, you can let me know and I'll pull it up. But I'm just trying to find one real quick.
Coaster Key. No, I have not been to Energy Landia. I want to really, really bad. That's definitely on the bucket list for sure.
Alrighty. I saw one, but it automatically scrolls down, which is okay. I guess. We'll do. What park frustrates us the most? If you've been watching me, Discovery Kingdom. I've never seen had a good visit there, so it's just that one for sure.
For me, Six Flags New England, hands down. It's just I have never had a good visit there, and I haven't been there well over 10 years, maybe 15 years, more close to 15 years, and I have no plans of going back. So
yeah, there's the Six Flags parks. It seems like everyone kind of has a different experience with them. It's like I've heard from some people that Discovery Kingdom and New England are like some of their best, but then I've also heard from people that they didn't have a really good visit there. So it's just I guess just how it is sometimes.
I had a good visit to Discovery Kingdom last time I went a few years ago, so that was good.
I think maybe the time of year I go also isn't the greatest. That also could be something that contributes. Oh shoot, now I realize what was wrong. Okay. Or wait, did I click on the right one? Hold on. Sorry guys, I have to. Okay, I see what happened. So I accidentally forgot to open up the quiz, so that's why it was saying it was finished. So shoot, I guess that means I'll give you guys a few, like another minute or two to get on. That is totally my bad. Sorry about that. I guess we can go through a few more questions because of that. That's why it was happening. So code should be working now. I just forgot to open that up. But yeah, thank you for letting me know that. That was something I should have caught earlier. Oh, we have a question. I think this is also for you. What do you think about Phoenix at Knoebels?
I love it. I know people consider that to be overrated, but if you look at it as a on a fun level aspect, it's one of the most fun coasters I've ridden. I rode it last July, and I have never had a bad ride on that coaster. It's just fun. I mean, I wish I could have that coaster in my backyard. It's just so fun. Great ride.
I need to go out and ride it whenever I can. It looks really good, and it's just I'm surprised that I haven't ever gotten to it. All right, so for the quiz, I am seeing that if I will leave the quiz up, the code up, so that if you want to join, you can. Because I know there was the whole thing, but I think I'm going to start it, and that'll be that. So if you still want to join, code is right there. But yeah, I'm gonna start this right now.
I'm gonna watch this. I don't think I'm gonna join. I just want to see. I promise I won't blurt out any answers if I know them or anything.
It's all right. Yeah, you're good. The first question is, what was the first Mauer spinning coaster? Just I guess in general. So yeah, that's the first question, and it's not the one in the picture. So sometimes I mean I don't even think it's an answer on here, but yeah. And also, if you don't want to do it on the actual quiz website, you can put your answers here in the chat. That's totally fine as well, because I know some people that's how they like to do it. Correct answer is Insider at Wiener Prater, which actually used to be Spinning Coaster at Tokyo Dome City, which opened in 2000. So
I wrote that. I didn't know that was the first one. That's amazing.
dang, yeah, that's a pretty rare credit, I think, there especially, because I don't know how long it was there. I guess
I thought it was a
years.
Golden Horse version. That's why I'm surprised. I thought Golden Horse did it for some reason. I wrote it in '05.
Second question is, how many coasters currently operate at Six Flags Great America, counting American Eagle as one credit? Because, yes, I know some people, that's a bit debatable, but currently they do have 15 roller coasters. That is the correct answer. Of course, I guess it's a good thing that none of the Six Flags Great America coasters were announced as being removed. That would have changed the answer, and I wouldn't have known. The third question is, Jungle Cruise is located at which Disney parks? Which parks is a Jungle Cruise ride located at? So, yeah. Oh, Sean, you also have a question. I guess I'll just...
I'm responding to one right now from Theme Park Horizons.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
If I miss, I might be wrong. If that's the one in Paris, no, I have not ridden it.
Yeah. That it's a theme Mauer spinner, so but yeah, it's in Paris. So yeah. The next question is, how fast is El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure? This is another one that, I mean, it used to be, I think was it ever at one point the fastest wooden coaster? I actually don't know, because
I think it was when it debuted. I think it took Voyage's record, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be very wrong.
Son
on
of
that.
Beast existed at that point. So.
Oh, that's true. Never. Okay, yeah.
And then I
tend to
think
leave that out of my mind.
And I forget. I think T Express might be faster. I'm not sure. I actually, now I'm totally lost because of Lightning Rod and everything. So I don't even know if it ever had a record. But
it was the steepest, I believe. I know that, and the tallest. Or not tallest, but it was definitely steepest, I think.
Next question is, what was the last year that Eagles Fortress at Everland operated in? I just realized I need to start saying the answers because I haven't been. And the correct answer is 2009, which that was the last year it ever operated in. Operated 1 year with T Express, but that was about it. So for anyone who's ridden those two, there are probably not very many. But to ride those two in the same day was pretty special, for sure. Next question is, what is the name of Dollywood's Christmas event? Pretty fitting that this is a question because Dollywood, I guess, just opened. Yes. Just seeing Son of Beast doesn't count. Correct answer is Smoky Mountain Christmas. Christmas in the Smokies, I believe, was actually one of her songs. So, Dolly Parton's songs. So it's actually Smoky Mountain Christmas. Seventh question is, who manufactured Star Trek Operation Enterprise at Movie Park Germany? This is a coaster they've gotten more recently. I almost said the manufacturer. That would have spoiled it, but yeah. Dollywood, yeah, I put Dollywood Lights. I made it up, but it sounds really funny because it sounds very similar to Hollywood Nights. So
Yep.
I just made that up. Correct answer is Mock Rides. This coaster was built in 2017, and Mr. Coal Roaster is in first place. Next question is, what country is Mystic in? Is it in the Netherlands, Belgium, France, or Germany? This was a new for 2019, I guess I can say the manufacturer, Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. And the correct answer is, if it'll load, France. It opened at Walibi-Rhône-Alpes, if I don't know if I said that correctly, but yes, in 2019. And Mr. Cole Roaster's still in first place. Next question is, what year was Hershend founded in? Also somewhat relevant because Kentucky Kingdom, of course, was acquired a few weeks ago, so I don't even know if that happened by the time I made this quiz. Probably. I think it was a rumor at the very least. It had to be. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put this in.
I'll be actually at the park next weekend.
Nice. Wait, which one?
Kentucky Kingdom for off season tour thing.
Oh, awesome. Correct answer is 1950, and they obtained the Marvel Cave in 1951. So that was the year it was founded in. Next question is, what was the Great Escape's original name? This one is, I imagine, probably very difficult unless this was like one of your home parks or something like that.
Yeah, I don't even know this one. Wow.
Yeah, but this would have been before Six Flags had it. At least I'm pretty sure. And the correct answer is Storytown, USA, which it opened as in 1954. So it's been around for a long time. Which, I mean, I guess it was around longer than I would have expected. Next question is, how many inversions does Twisted Cyclone have? This one I think is, it's probably easier than some of the other ones, but if you haven't ridden it, it might be, you may not know because you might not have it memorized, I guess. But yes, Twisted Cyclone. How many inversions does it have? And the correct answer is 3 inversions, and mostly everyone got it right, so that's good to see. Mr. Cole Roaster still in first with Lindsay, very close behind. Next question is, how tall is Superman Escape from Krypton at Six Flags Magic Mountain? This is the height, not the drop height, so I'll say that before. But actually, I don't even think. But yeah, I guess it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, what is the height of Superman Escape from Krypton? The correct answer is 415 feet tall. And when it opened, I believe it was the tallest coaster in the world. Although that record was debatable because it wasn't like a complete circuit. The next question is, Wrath of Zeus, the Vekoma Firestorm, is located at which park? This was a Vekoma Firestorm that opened last year. So it was a new for 2020 coaster that didn't get delayed. Although it actually, I think, had gotten delayed previously and was supposed to go to another park entirely, but it ended up here. And the correct answer is Vin Wonders, which is in Vietnam. So they're actually getting quite a few new parks, it seems like. We have, I think, 2 more questions left? Yeah. Next question is, what was the first coaster to open at Six Flags Darien Lake? I'm trying to see what who we have here. I don't know that we have anyone that has some of these New York parks as their home parks. But what was the first coaster to open at Six Flags Darien Lake? And the correct answer is Hoot and Holler, which I don't even remember what the coaster is. I think it's like a kiddie coaster or something like that. I actually can't remember, but when researching, this is what I found. I haven't been to the park, but that was their first coaster. And the last question is, how tall is the Beast at Kings Island? Once again, not the drop, the actual height. So,
Well, the coaster that broke my fear, right there.
Yep. And the correct answer is 110 feet tall. It has a 141 foot tall drop. So that's why, as you can see, a lot of people answered that way. And the winner of this quiz was Mr. Cola Roaster, followed up by Lindsay, which was followed up by Airtime Thrill. So good job to everyone who participated. Top 3 will receive a shout out in a community post. And that's pretty much the quiz. So that'll be that. And with that being said, we'll move on to our next segment, which is actually going to be the YouTube shoutouts. So these are for channels that have reached, and I need to, I guess, fix this. Yeah, there we go. YouTube shoutouts. These are going to be for channels that reached a milestone recently. I had to limit it because there were a lot of channels that were close. So this week, for this episode, I'm going to do ones that have reached. And so with that being said, our first channel is Theme Park Hunting. He has recently reached 4,000 subscribers. Great channel, would definitely recommend. And he also recently started his own podcast, On the Hunt podcast, because, and I guess that'll be his new podcast because Talkin' Trimless is no more. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that actually happened within like the last almost week. I think a little more than a week. It was about a week ago where that was announced. But yeah, he has his own podcast now called On the Hunt. So make sure to check that out if you haven't, and make sure to check out his channel. Our next channel we have is Great American Coasters, who has reached 5,000 subscribers. So it has a lot of countdowns and list videos that are great. So if you haven't checked him out, make sure to. He did an interesting video on, I believe it was the top 15 coaster flops. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to. Very consistent in uploading as well. So great channel. The next one I have is Canopy Coaster. He reached 4,000 subscribers. It's growing quite quickly, actually. Very new channel, all things considered. And honestly, like, he has, in my opinion, some of the best reviews or coaster reviews of any channel out there. I love his reviews. And his countdowns that he did a few months ago, I guess he still does them, but the ones he did kind of toward the end of the year, I really enjoyed those, like his favorite flat rides, just because that was a cool list to see. There was a lot of rides that I'd never seen. So overall, another awesome channel, and would definitely recommend if you haven't seen his stuff already. Oh shoot, I probably should, if you want to say anything about any of these channels before I move on, I probably should let you. I guess I didn't mention that.
Who,
Sean,
me?
But yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no, I'm fine. Just I think everybody's doing a great job with their channels and stuff, and I watch that stuff, so it's all good.
Yeah, alrighty. So yeah, I just want to make sure I got that out there. But yes, our next channel, of course, is El Toro Ryan. Definitely his growth. He got a lot of help from his newest Space Mountain video, which is really incredible. It's like I knew it was a complicated ride, but had no clue how complicated it was before his last video. He did a Problematic Coasters, which is a great series in itself, but the one on Space Mountain was absolutely incredible. Did I say Splash Mountain? I hope not. Oh well, if I did. But Space Mountain, very interesting ride, and the video he did on it was really cool. So well deserving of the 50,000 subs. Another channel that has been growing a lot recently is Coastoons, very new channel, and he recently reached 4,000 subscribers. Very entertaining channel. He has a lot of interesting videos. Did one on inversions specifically that is interesting, just kind of like how they've kind of evolved and progressed over time. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to. And the last channel I have is Coaster Dash, who also reached 4,000 subscribers. And Mark, he's the one who has this channel. He's actually from California, so great to see that. But he also makes a lot of great countdowns. Definitely one of the best coaster channels when it comes to countdowns. So yeah, definitely make sure to check him out if you haven't already. And those are all the channels. Great job to everyone who has reached a milestone. And for those who are getting very close, I know there's a lot of channels that are. That also great job as well. And I'll probably put like a community post out there in the future, because I think the next episode of Coaster Time won't be for a little bit. It probably won't be till April, so I'll probably do that just because. So that's pretty much everything. If you have any thing you want to say before we get to our next Q&A segment.
Just congratulations, folks. That's awesome. That's awesome, awesome, awesome.
Absolutely. The next, we'll go into our second Q&A session, and you guys can ask any questions that we either didn't get to or any new questions that you have thought of since the last sort of segment. Just seeing how we are on time. It looks like we're doing pretty good, actually.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, yes.
And then, thanks again for inviting me to do this. This is awesome. I love seeing. I see a lot of the same names and some of the other times even when I do my own live stream. So we have a nice community, I think, on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
For sure. It's great to see like everybody reach these milestones and like everyone kind of being more congratulatory for it. So it's very nice to see all of that. Our first question has come in. It is favorite Intamin coaster, or I guess one you really like. For me, you're not gonna like my answer.
You're gonna say Skyrush.
Yeah, that's it.
For me, it's probably, I don't know, Maverick or Top Thrill Dragster. Maybe Millennium Force. I'm trying to go through my brain to see. There's a lot of anime coasters out there.
Dragster's up there for me too. I think.
Yeah, I have a video. Spoiler alert! I have a video being released soon. It's already scheduled out, but it's more additional footage of Top Thrill Dragster's Media Day. And it's all in 60 FPS. So there's a lot of fun going back and looking at that footage.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome to see. I can't wait to see that.
I've got a lot of old some more older stuff. The Discovery Channel stuff's about there's not going to be any more after a couple more, but then after that, it's a lot of additional stuff. So hopefully everybody will like it.
Our next question we have is, okay, which manufacturer? I think I've answered I've answered this question, and I think I don't really like. I don't know. More recently, I've just been thinking about it. I don't really like saying manufacturers are overrated or underrated. I'm okay with saying coasters are because that's one project, but like a manufacturer, that's like their whole process and everything. So, but I think I did kind of answer that in another stream, so I won't go into it too much again. If you want to answer this,
I would say the same thing. I mean, I think they were anything that's providing us with any sort of thrill, whether we like it or not, at least someone out there will like the worst coaster by a manufacturer, I'm sure. So that's a difficult one. But I agree. Coasters are a lot easier to answer. So
yeah, and then also, I mean, for someone like me, I haven't even ridden like an SNS or a Gravity group. I can't really say anything. I can't really, or at least a coaster. I've ridden SNS drop towers, but that's a different deal, I guess.
Sure.
Let's see. Oh, someone was asking, yeah, you do live streams?
Yeah, I don't have a schedule. I do them maybe once a month. I need to get better at that, but I've been recently going back on the road for work, so it's a little bit more difficult. But I'm not going to be on the road for probably a month, so I'm sure I'll do a couple of them in April.
Awesome. I'll make sure to be there if I can.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah. This one's probably it. I guess top 3 coasters you want to ride in Japan. This is probably more toward me, but
sure.
If you have 3 that you haven't ridden, that'd be awesome. But my top 3, of course, I'll go from, I guess, 1, 2, 3. Egenika is definitely my top 1. I love X2, so I mean it's my number 2 coaster. Egenika definitely, like, it's on the top of my bucket list of like basically any coaster out there. So Egenika is my number 1. My number 2 is Hakuge, definitely. Hakuge looks insane. It looks really good. It looks a lot better than I would have expected based off kind of like when we first heard about it. I didn't think it was going to be something that a lot of coaster enthusiasts like raved about as being one of their best rides, but sure enough, when it opens and when you see it running and everything, it looks absolutely incredible. So and then my number 3, it's very difficult. It's very much between it probably is Dodonpa, but Flying Dinosaur is also right up there. So those 2, I guess that's my top 4.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great suggestions. There's so much there. I need to give Egenika another ride because I only rode it one time. I didn't like it. And then every time I tried to go back and ride it again, it was closed. So that's my fault. But yeah, great. Nice. And Hakuge, I don't know how many RMCs you've done, but to me, it feels like a smaller RMC on a grand scale. If that makes any sense, the smaller RMCs seem to be a little bit more intense, and as far as like negative G's go and stuff. So I mean, it gave us bruises on the lap bar, if that tells you anything. And then if you only get one ride, do your best to try the ride at the front.
Oh man, but because of the assigned seating, that's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
Oh man. I've done 5 RMCs actually, so
Okay.
a decent amount.
Sure.
I won't go into this too much, but I did see Dagan Barnes did ask this. If you have Instagram, they kind of explain it on Instagram for Talking Trimless. And also, Hunter, if you listen to his On the Hunt podcast, he kind of explains the whole, like, Talking Trimless, like, kind of why it just stopped pretty much. But I'm not going to explain that too much here. What's your favorite invert? This is for you.
Montu. And another kind of plug for a video. I swear I'm not doing this. Just to plug
It's all
stuff,
good,
but,
yo. You're totally fine.
the 25th anniversary of Media Day, I have a video coming out that morning from the footage I shot that day 25 years ago. It was the first Media Day I ever attended, and it's to this day that ride, I love everything about that ride, that layout. So it's still my favorite for sure.
Oh yeah, that ride, I cannot wait. Whenever it is, whenever I get to Busch Gardens, Tampa, to ride Montu. It looks so good. Raptor is my current favorite right now as is, but
That was my first B&M. I love Raptor. Always loved Raptor as well.
yeah, that one, I really like it. Okay, interesting question. If you were giving advice to an enthusiast who has never been to the US but wants to plan a first 10-day coaster trip in America, which route do you recommend? Oh my God, this is definitely for you, but that's a tough one for sure.
I mean, you could go either way. You could start on the West Coast and go into Central America, or you could start on the East Coast. Both sides have a ton of parks, both coasts. Or you could just start in the Midwest and just kind of do a spiral, But probably I would suggest doing something on the East Coast if they're coming from the UK, and if they're coming from Asia or something like that, start on the West Coast, That's a tough one. You always, Lee, Stanford, you always get me on your questions. So.
Yeah, he's been a long time viewer, so he always has either something interesting or some pretty good questions.
Mm-hmm.
What parks do you think could get an RMC Raptor soon? I'll limit it to one. What would be a good one that I would like to see? I feel like I've even thought of this, but for whatever reason I cannot think of one. Silverwood, of course, would have been a good pick, but that was like about everyone's pick a few years ago, and of course they're actually getting one now. So, I don't know what their land situation is like, but for some reason I feel like Adventureland seems like the kind of park that maybe like it would probably be a good fit. Oh, Six Flags St. Louis for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those two I think are probably, and I guess those are both like pretty close to each other, so at least somewhat. So I don't know if one gets one, the other doesn't, but those two definitely seem like some good options. Oh, and Magic Mountain because they're probably gonna get one. But
well, if they get one, I just hope they can do the 3 trains. I know it'll have a longer train. I heard it's going to be like a clone of the one that's going to New Jersey, but they need capacity, and those rides aren't really known for their capacity, So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Do you have a specific park or?
No, I mean those are great. I mean, I'm going to say, the Columbus Zoo has an amusement park here 20 minutes from me. I would love to have one of those. I mean, we have an original John Allen, it's a small wooden coaster, but admittedly, I haven't been to that park in probably 15 years. So
definitely, I guess would bring a reason to go back and visit more often for sure.
Are you kidding me? If I'd buy a season pass and go every day when I'm not on the road.
Oh yeah, that would be incredible. Oh, do you like the name Riddler Mindbender? This is, it's bad.
I'm not one to really be picky about names and stuff, but I mean, why not just keep it Mindbender. I mean, it was rumored years ago to have that name, like 20 years ago, and that's when they made the trains with the question marks and all of them. But so I kind of just thought it was going to happen eventually, and just didn't know it was going to take this long.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Coaster Keychain, and thank you, Lee.
Man, I didn't know it was rumored for a long time, but that's interesting. Um, ooh, uh, favorite and least favorite B&M.
Oh, least favorite for me, the original one, Iron Wolf. But I have not done the
Oh,
floorless version,
oh,
but Iron Wolf was one of the my least favorite coasters ever. And it's strange to say that from a B&M coaster. Favorite, probably Montu, Raptor, Fury. I do really love Orion. It's only an hour away. So uh, stuff like that. What about you?
my least favorite. I guess it's weird because if it were Patriot slash Vortex like Great America, I consider it one credit, even though it got converted. Vortex would by far be the worst B&M I've ridden. It's the only one I would say was truly bad. When it was a stand-up at California's Great America. But as Patriot, it's not my least favorite out of the existing ones. That would go to Scream at Magic Mountain, which I don't know. I don't really care for it.
Yeah, I don't care for
Um,
it either.
and then my favorite B&M is Tatsu at Magic Mountain. So Magic
Oh,
Mountain
nice.
currently has my least favorite and favorite B&M around, at least that I've done. So pretty interesting. Ooh, let's see. Let's see. Oh, do you film with a GoPro? This is for you, Sean.
I do. I bought a GoPro last year, right when everything was locked down, so I wasn't able to use it. And first time I used it was when I went to Knoebels, and shot some POVs there. And then the last vlog I uploaded, all the stuff at SeaWorld, all the POVs were shot with it. I'm currently the next vlog I do, I've shot 100% of it with my phone and the GoPro. I'm not using my main Sony camera because I'm trying a different format. I'm trying 4K HDR, 60 frames per second, and I've had to kind of learn how to do that with my editing software. And so everything will be, if you have an HDR display, it'll look really, really crisp. So I'm hoping I can figure out how to do that with my GoPro when I'm editing. So we'll see.
That's cool. I think I do see we still have a good amount of questions left. If there's any you want specifically to answer, we can go for it. But
Let me scroll. This
not,
this
all right.
scroll thing's kind of weird.
Yeah, are you doing it on StreamYard or on YouTube?
No, I'm doing it on StreamYard. But if somebody asks me a specific question, and you're talking, I'll chime in on YouTube. I've got both kind of ready to go.
Yeah, StreamYard is weird. For me it'll like automatically go down and it's really annoying.
Yeah, that's what's happening over here.
Yes.
Is there any point in saving the old CCIs? Yeah, I think so for sure.
Where is that?
Hollywood
Okay.
Nights for the first time. Oh man, your first enthusiast event, dude. Uh, it's going to melt your mind. It's the only coaster event I do. For me, it's more of a social thing than a riding thing. Last year, there wasn't a lot of riding going on because just the way everything was. But yes, you're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love it. The walkbacks, the food, everything. It's must. And I know, Carrick, you said you're in school, right? And you can never go to the.
Yeah, it's like the schedule for it has never lined up because it's always on the last week of school and it's like I have finals and it's like theoretically there is probably a way I could get around it, but it would take like probably months in advance and it would be like I'd have to get things early and it would not only be a pain for like me but probably also the teachers and everything. um I don't know if that'll change. I think that'll change with beyond high school, so but we'll see. Yeah, it's always been like at a bad time, which is why I've never even really considered going because it just never lined up whenever I looked at it. um Alrighty, so with that being said, I think we're gonna flip it around. We're gonna be doing questions for you. And my first question is, and I'm making sure that I didn't change these. Okay, good. What other parks do you think Hershend could acquire? It doesn't necessarily have to be something realistic, maybe just something you would want to see or something. But because Hershend, it seems like they might acquire some other parks. This might not be the first one. We'll see if it actually happens. But that's what I've been hearing. Unless you've been hearing something different, Sean.
I haven't. I really haven't. I mean, they clearly can surprise us, but I honestly would have I'd have to really think about that one. Like, I mean, right now, let's just face it. We're not going to be seeing a lot of huge attractions for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Other than ones that were already being planned,
or I guess paid for. Pretty
much.
Yeah,
most importantly, paid for.
Yeah, paid for.
But I think that's where parks or chains or folks like Hershend and places like that are going to kind of zap up some of the smaller parks, perhaps, because sure, it would be more expensive than buying a single ride, but look what they're getting for that price. They can shape it any way they want, add new attractions. So I think we're going to see a lot of smaller parks being built by bigger names. And maybe that'll work and maybe it won't, depending on the park.
Looking at the chat, I'm seeing a lot of Kennywood, which I know, especially with, because I know some people, a lot of, I don't even know if it's just enthusiasts, but just visitors have not been the happiest with the current ownership. I haven't been, so I wouldn't know, but I know that is a thing. So I guess that is something I guess I'd expect to kind of see on here. Elitch Gardens. Oh, man.
I agree there for sure.
Oh, you haven't had the best visits there either?
No, I mean, I've only been there a handful of times. The last time I went, I was in Denver for work, and I took a day and went. And it was the best day I'd ever had there. But that ride just I hate to say this for the people that enjoy that park, but the park just feels very generic to me. My favorite ride is the Aero Shuttle Loop by far. And there's not too many of those around. So that would get me back to the park, always, as long as it's there. But nothing else there really stands out to me.
Yeah. It's not one I've ever been to, and not one I really am thinking about going to anytime soon. I did see Adventureland. This is one of the ones I thought of, but only if they're actually like struggling. Like with Kentucky Kingdom, it turned out that they weren't doing as well as we thought, I guess, or at least as I would have thought. So if Adventureland's in a similar situation, then I think this would make sense. But if it seems, I mean, I haven't been, but it seems like they got a pretty good thing going. So if they can stay as is, the only weird thing was that when they started letting people with like Six Flags season passes, they actually let them like go into the park, which was weird. That happened last year. I remember hearing that. I'm like, that's really strange, but I guess they figured maybe they would spend money on food or something, so at least it's something.
The same thing kind of happened when Six Flags bought Kentucky Kingdom back in 2002, I think it was. I was in Europe shortly after that news broke, and I had a Kentucky Kingdom season pass and I had a Six Flags season pass. So myself and another enthusiast, we left Six Flags Belgium, walked out the front gate and went back in and tried to use our Kentucky Kingdom passes, and it worked. It got us into Six Flags Belgium. Yeah.
I think for Adventureland, it was a little more weird because I don't think it was just Six Flags. I think it was literally like they also allowed like Cedar Fair. It was very weird.
Oh, weird. Yeah, that is
it
strange.
was really strange. And like I said, I haven't been, but it seems like a nice park. I'd only like mess with it if it turned out they weren't in a good situation.
Sure.
Although I have another one. I don't know if they'd ever do it, but Mount Olympus. That park is
that is the definition of sketchy. I'm sorry. I have video when it used to be called Big Chiefs, walking up to the ticket place, and there's a big sign that says, "We have no insurance. Ride at your own risk."
Oh my god.
So
yeah, that's it's an interesting park. I'm seeing Fun Spot. No, their Cedar Point's not gonna get touched. I think that's a joke.
Yeah.
Let's see, Sea Breeze. So some smaller parks I'm seeing. Someone brought up Parque Reunidos because they are the owners. I guess Palace is theirs, so would they potentially sell the whole thing to Herschend? I don't know. I doubt it because that'd be a lot of parks. But there were some things being done this year that didn't look great from Palace's end, like a lot of attraction removals. But I guess Six Flags is doing that too. I don't know really what to make of that. Let's see, but I think I can't see anything else that's different unless I'm totally missing something. But some of these are good ideas, like a Lich would be nice. Kennywood potentially. Adventureland if it were in a bad situation. Like I said, Mount Olympus, I don't know if they would even ever touch it, but if they did, that would probably be nice. Just for it to be a little nicer and just for things to probably be better overall. I guess we'll move on to our next question then, which is, what is, or was, if it was defunct, a ride that surprised you in a good way?
Oh, Coaster Keychain. Goodbye. He's leaving.
Oh, rip. See ya.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
This one was also tough for me to think of, but I would have to go with Dragster because going in, it wasn't even like one of my top 3 like most anticipated rides. I even did a list, and then it like totally surprised me after a ride on Millennium Force that wasn't what I was hoping for, basically. So I have to go with Dragster.
Sure. Oh, Revenge of the Mummy. That's a good one. Theme Park Horizons. That is a good one.
Yeah.
I agree there. I anytime I'm at Islands of Adventure, or Universal, I just used a single rider line and just ride that thing, man. I mean, there's rides that I've ridden that I didn't know anything about before I rode them, and they were really surprising too. Oh man, I'm gonna screw the name up of this. Panic Coaster Back Dan.
Yes, Panic Coaster Back Dan. Yes, the one at Tokyo Dome City.
Oh my gosh, we had no idea. I didn't even know that coaster was there because it's under the ground and you have to walk down escalators and stuff to get to it. And none of us knew what it was. And then when we left the ride, we were all just flipping out. We only got one ride on it though. That's what sucks. I would go back to that park just for that ride.
Yeah, that I haven't watched a POV. However, I have heard things just because of how word gets around. But it does seem like a pretty cool ride.
We had no idea it did what it did. Let's just put it that way. Like halfway through, we're like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. And then it really confuses you. And then you leave the ride just saying, I just don't understand what happened. I love those types of rides.
For, let's see, other answers. I don't even know what this ride is.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is. I've ridden that.
Not a coaster, definitely.
No, it's one of those things. It's like one of those giant things that you face outwards and you just does a big circle, like a falling star. I think it's a giant falling star ride. Holiday World used to have one named Banshee, but the one at Hershey Park was really tall.
Oh, these things. Oh, that was.
I think Hershey Park you faced each other. I think.
Huh. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Viper at Six Flags Great America. Yeah. I haven't ridden it, but I know you enjoyed your rides on that a lot. Hulk and Mummy. Incredible Hulk I haven't done. A lot of these I haven't done.
The old Hulk, I agree. I don't care anything for the new Hulk, but the old Hulk, I agree with that.
I've been hearing that a lot, and that surprises me.
Theme Park Horizons I have. Trust me. Back left.
Storm Runner. Yeah, that was... I don't know. I guess I knew it was going to be good, so it didn't surprise me as much, but it was still an awesome ride. Gale Force at Playland's Castaway Cove. I think, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I want to ride that.
That one looks so good. Especially after they retracted after it had a bunch of issues, like its opening year or whatever it was. It was pretty wacky. Joris and the Drac. Have you done this one?
I've been to that park, but that was way before that ride was there. I rode the original wood coaster that was in its place. That's the GCI racing one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I rode, what was it, Pegasus, the Intamin wooden coaster that was there. I rode that. But I have not ridden
Yeah, I think
this.
that's right. Yeah, I think they had an Intamin Woody. I hope it was. I don't know if it was better than Pegasus at Mount Olympus.
Oh, with that death turn or whatever, the angle, the turn that
Yeah, that thing is
the
ridiculous.
corner.
Why would they put that on a family wooden coaster? I don't
So
understand.
it got worse over time. I had uploaded a POV of that during quarantine from '99, and it was still there, but not nearly as bad as it is now. So I just think they just, not surprisingly, just didn't take care of it, and it just literally got worse.
Still, I mean, I guess, but I do have. I'm just the design of it. It seems like something that would get worse over time, even if they kept it up.
Sure.
Backlot stunt coaster and the wooden coasters at Canada's Wonderland. Yeah, I've heard a lot of not so great things about those, but some people are saying they like it. I think Coaster Dash actually, who I mentioned, I think he actually said he liked some of their woodies, which that's interesting to hear because for a while it was like didn't hear anything but bad things about him. So, yeah.
There's one wooden coaster. I always get them mixed up.
There's Wildebeest, Mighty Canadian, and Mighty Canadian
Mighty
Mindbuster.
Canadian, I rode in 2019, and it was actually better than I thought it would be, and better than I remember. And I didn't even try to give the other larger wooden coaster because that thing is just. I remember riding that and saying never again. There's very few coasters I ride that I say never again.
Man, yeah. Actually, I don't know if it's Wildebeest or Wild Beast because they've like changed the name, like the spelling of it, and it's I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know what it is at this point. Comet Express at Lotte World in South Korea. I've never heard of Comet
I don't
Express, so
either.
uh, but that's cool. I'll have to check it out later just to see what it looks like. Silver Comet, yeah, that's a rip. Silver Comet at Fantasy Island.
Oh yeah, I rode that opening year. That was, I think it's the only time I've ridden it, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I take that back. I've ridden it one other time, and
Hmm.
pretty brutal. There's another really great lateral turn in that as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Oh, Vortex at Canada's Wonderland and Georgia Scorcher. So basically the two stand-ups. Yeah, so that's interesting. I've heard good things about Georgia Scorcher. Oh wait, no, Vortex at Canada's Wonderland. No, I'm thinking of the one Carowinds. No, Vortex like the suspended coaster. Got it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that one looks
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same layout as the one at Kings Island, but it's a little bit more rickety. The one in Canada, it's got smaller wheels, so it runs a little bit differently, but still a great ride.
The settings are the big thing that separates the two, it seems like.
Oh yeah,
And I think most people prefer Vortex over Bat, but in terms of setting. Batman the Dark Knight, that's one I don't hear anything about, so it's interesting.
yeah. Is that the floor the
It's the
floorless one?
floorless at New
Oh
England.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was it's it's probably my least favorite floorless. I only rode it one time, the year it opened, whatever year that was. That's the last time I'd ever been to that park. I mean, it was solid, but it was just a really short floorless one.
Yeah, it seems pretty short, so I don't really know what to make of it. And the last question I guess I have is, what was a memorable coaster or park experience for you? It can be either good, bad, weird, or funny. This is actually an idea I actually threw out to uh, 808 Coaster Life for his 1,000 subscribers special, I think it was, and he actually did it, so that's pretty cool.
Oh boy.
It was a special. I know that. I don't know if it was one. No, it wasn't 1,000, but it was special of his. But yeah.
One of the most memorable for me was back in '05 in Japan again. I went to Sendai Highland, which is an amusement park on top of a mountain. There's a lot of parks on top of mountains there, but this park, you get off the train station, you have to call the park, and then they come down and pick you up in a minivan and then
Whoa.
drive you all the way up. But on the way up the mountain, they were explaining to us there's a typhoon on its way, and we knew that there was a typhoon coming, and so the park is closed. And we're just like, well, why are we going up to the mountain then? and they thought we wanted to just like check out the gift shop. So we did. They took us in the gift shop, and we were like, yeah, we'll look at some stuff. Then they all got into a little huddle, and they said, follow us. And we followed them, and they wiped down and opened every coaster in the park for 3 of us.
Dang.
And they have a wild mouse there that uses skid brakes, and it was raining. And they're like, because the wild mouse has skid brakes, we can't run it in the rain. And we're like, no, you've done way too much. You understand. And then they got into a little huddle again. And we're like, uh-oh. They ran away, came back with towels. And it's in my 05 footage. While we were riding it, they had towels on the brakes. And then as the car would come, they move the towels and then let the car go by and then wipe them down for the next one. So that would never happen in the U.S. So that's probably my most memorable one. One of the people in our team was crying because they were so happy, and they thought they did something wrong. So we were trying to tell them, like, no, we're happy,
Oh my God, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Airtime thrills. That's some good customer service. I see hospitality. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy. That is. Wow, that's definitely something you would never see here in the U.S. That's for sure. But that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I heard that park is just not there anymore because of the nuclear disaster and all that they had. Because
nuclear
of the earthquakes.
Disaster?
Well, like they had that when the earthquakes hit and the tsunami hit back in 2011, I think it was. There was a nuclear power plant that.
Oh no!
It like there's full towns in Japan that they're ghost towns because of that. And I think that park, even though it was high up on the mountain, I think that's one of them that I could be way off on this, but I was told that it closed because of that. But I don't know that for a fact.
I'll have to look into that. That's crazy if that actually was what happened. I didn't even know about that. That's crazy. Ooh, okay, so let's see. I guess for mine, I didn't really have any. I went with a coaster moment. Really, my first ride on X2. I was just really nervous to ride it, but also excited just because I had heard great things about it. But I was also like, it just looks so crazy. And going up the lift hill was just terrifying. The view it gives, and the soundtrack was actually playing. So it was actually like, it was actually working as how it was supposed to. It was just really insane. And then, of course, going down the first drop, I was like, oh my goodness, I was kind of like internally like freaking out, like what's going on. And that first drop, it's so good, at least in my opinion. It's my favorite element on any coaster, just because it's just so wild. The first drop in X2, and especially since you flip it toward the end of it, that was just. Doing that for the first time was insane.
You're really going to like Injanika then, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of X2 because the last time I rode it, I loved X1. Then I rode X2 and it beat me up. So when I rode Injanika, I was expecting to get it. It beat me up. It gave me a headache, but it's loads smoother than X2. So you're really going to really enjoy that one, I think, when you get there someday. Unless they put another one in the US,
All right, so I'm trying to see. 2016 ride on Mean Streak. The ride was so rough it gave me airtime from the jackhammering. Dang, that's an interesting ride experience. First time at Thorpe Park. Yeah, because you're from UK, so yeah, that would be definitely the first time. Especially, I imagine you've probably been a decent amount of times. Definitely, first time is something pretty cool. So Magic Mountain would probably be up there too. My first visit, I didn't go until like 2013, which I was 11 at that point, so that's pretty crazy. Let's see. Oh no, bird flying into my front seat ride on an invert where no one got hurt. It's just, it flapped wildly while stuck in a rider's arm for a portion of the ride. That is weird. That's pretty crazy. Reminds me of the Fabio thing, but not quite like that.
I actually had something similar riding Voyage in pitch darkness, and my arm hit a bat.
Oh my God.
And then we went through on the tunnels, and I went like this to remove it, and I could tell by its wings that it wasn't a bird, and I just threw it. And it didn't like bleed or anything on my arm, but one of the last conversations I had with Will Cook was about that bat. So yeah, I can say I can knock that off the little bucket list now. So
A bat.
not that I was looking forward to that. Yeah.
Imagine now. I'm just thinking now. The perfect thing is you're riding the bat at Kings Island, but you get hit by a bat,
Dude. For whatever reason, stuff like that happens to me. I can't explain it. Now that you've said that, you watch. It will happen. Okay.
I mean, if like for Voyage, the only thing that would have been like better is if it happened on Raven because that's Halloween themed.
Yes.
Now both of those things are just gonna happen randomly, so that's pretty funny. Oh man. Man, I'm trying to hit, I don't like how it does I'm used to it, but the automatic scroll down thing. Oh,
yeah, I mean, I'm seeing different ones than you are. I see one for me right now, but I'll wait until you catch up.
Stanford Bridge. I'll go through this. I may have mentioned this before, but I was warned to keep my arms down on Laferia's Montaña Russa because it's too rough. I still put my arms up, but when the coaster hit the bottom of the hill, my arm slammed down on the head of a nun in front of me.
Dude!
Yes, I remember you mentioned this during one of the streams.
So, Lee, I don't know if I mentioned that, if you told me in that stream or what, but I had my hat when I used to wear, when my hair used to be really long, I used to wear a ball cap, and it was a Metallica ball cap in the 1990s, and it flew off on the splash water is on Kings Island, and it landed in the lap of a nun that was behind me. Oh. And then she gave it to me at the other end, and I'm like, should I be like expecting like choirs and stuff to be singing around me and all this stuff? It was weird, man. But that is awesome. I mean, not really for you, but you know,
it's a crazy story. Being both
of
those
awesome.
How that is, both of those are pretty wild, but especially that one.
Lee's is just, man, dude, wow. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
Yes, for anyone who didn't know, that is one heck of a story. Let's see. Well, that's unfortunate. Doing Six Flags New England for a camp trip, but Joker gave you a headache. Yeah, that's pretty tough. I've heard of stuff like that about the 40 free spins, so yeah, that's tough.
There's some that are better than others. I think I've ridden 4 at this point, maybe 3 or 4. But I started with the most intense one, and I was like, man, if they're all this way, then I don't know if I'm going to ride them. But the one in Texas, Fiesta Texas, I rode quite a few times. Loved it.
Let's see. Ooh, someone was asking if Kentucky Kingdom still has an inverted coaster. Yes, they have T3 still.
And I will go. Yeah, and I will say, I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this too, but I did the ERT at Chris from Maritime Thrills was there for the Keys to the Kingdom event, and loved every ride. I sat on that thing 4 times in near the back, and I have never been a fan of T3 after like the first week it opened. Had great ride. I mean, laughing and everything. So if Kentucky Kingdom does do the event this year, I will be there for sure.
And you'll ride.
I'm one of the few that like it.
Yes. Oh man. I've heard mixed things on the ride because some people actually do. There seems to be more people liking it than they're used to. I guess that's probably with the restraints, but yeah. The
restraints. I mean, they can, if you're not careful, they can really tighten up on your lap. But I mean, somebody put it best. I think it was Lucas from Ohio Colts. He said the ride feels like it's running in 5 frames per second, and that's a pretty good thing. But it's so janky, it's funny, I guess you could say.
Ooh, airtime thrills. Riding Fury in the pouring rain in the front row. Right Up said that you could stay on, but you had to turn that down. Oh man, yeah, that would be pretty painful. I mean, I've done Twisted Colossus in the rain, and I thought that was pretty painful. I can't even imagine Fury. That's like a different level.
Oh yeah,
of pain. Because you're almost going 100 miles per hour, like what, 92, 93 miles per hour, something like that. So
yeah, I think it's
Or-
95.
I think it's like, yeah, 94 or 95, actually. You're right.
Yeah.
Christian met the designer of Animal Kingdom and Pandora at Animal Kingdom. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. Joe Road, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah. Oh, and you saw the actress for Gamora. Nice. Dang, that's pretty cool. I've never seen like any celebrities or anything like that at a park I've been to, at least that I've taken notice of. So that's pretty cool.
I've ridden with a few. If anybody can guess well, Lee's going to get this instantly because he knows, I'm sure, who I rode at Montu's Media Day with. If anybody gets that, that'll be it. It's a video coming up. Well, I mentioned before, but I'm curious to see if anybody will get it. So, funny, Chris.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, T3. I've heard some pretty tough things about it. Is that...
I've literally ridden like 2 SLCs that I've reridden, you know.
Oh, wow. What was the second one?
It was, I think it's called Neo, and it's at Mitsui Greenland in Japan.
Yeah,
now,
the one in Japan.
2019, nobody else in the group liked it, but I didn't ride it in 2019 and 05. I rode it in the back row, and I'm just like, whoa, you know, this is awesome. So, no, Lee, that's not who.
Let's see. I think there's like another one or two. There's another two. I think I'm another experience for me was when I waited 2.5 hours for an SLC in the 45-degree Mediterranean heat. That ride actually taught me that I kind of like SLCs. That's interesting.
That is commitment for an SLC.
Yes, that is. Yeah, that is.
I'm just. If I was at a park and that was the only coaster at the park and I needed the credit, I would seriously have to question my sanity if I wanted to wait that long. But it is a credit, man. First drop, I have ridden with him, but that's not. Oh yeah, Lee got it. He got it. Okay, Lee got it.
Nice. Drew Carey. Shoot. I don't know who that is. I don't know.
He's now the host of The Price is Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. You know what? Yes, I have. Yes. Okay. Now
He used to have his own show, the Drew Carey Show. He's an Ohioan, so we talked about Ohio, and he was worried that my sunglasses were going to fall off at Montu at night. And really nice guy though. So
nice. And I think the last one we got, Theme Park Horizons again. He went on an 8th grade trip to Universal and got to walk backstage behind Hulk's layout. That sounds.
Whoa, that would be awesome.
The views were crazy. Yeah, shoot. I mean, I haven't ridden the ride, but I can just kind of guess. Like, that sounds crazy. Wow. And Mr. Cola Roaster waited 100 minutes for a wild mouse. Yikes. Oh, man. Man, that is also commitment for sure.
I absolutely love the Ohio, because that's how the intro music of Drew Carey Show ended. So Mr. Cola Roaster and Chris from Airtime Thrills, good job.
Nice. Let's see. I think that is pretty much that. So we'll move on to our next segment, which is what out of 10. If you haven't seen this, how it works is that I will be bringing up 5 POVs, and I'll be showing it up here on screen. And if you've ridden the ride, you can give your score out of 10. Or if you haven't ridden it, you can give a prediction score out of 10. And once we have all the scores, I'll pretty much rank them from, and I'll get the average of all of them. I'll rank the coasters from, according to you guys, the I guess worst to best, basically. So yeah, with that being said, our first coaster we have is Raging Bull at Six Flags Great America. Of course, the one of the first B&M Hypers was. It was
opened the same year that Apollo's Chariot did.
Yeah. Yeah. So Raging Bull will be our first coaster. Give me a moment to pull it up, and
now I know.
Yeah, you can go.
I was just gonna say they. I don't personally rate coasters, so I'm interested to see how this goes. But I'm sure what you've picked is going to be a lot of fun. So Oh,
already.
they're already chiming in with scores.
All right. Raging Bull at Six Flags Great America. And then I'm going to have to pull up the average score calculator and then plug away.
This first drop in the back is in the back row is
Insane.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, night rides. I agree. First drop, night rides. One of the best ERTs I've ever had in my life was on this ride for 2.5 hours, I think, at night. The year it opened, '99. It was amazing.
yeah. This I haven't ridden it, but the first drop looks great. I don't know what to make of the rest of the layout, but it looks like a fun ride overall.
It's just a really fun ride. It's not very intense, but you can just ride it and just enjoy it. You know, you don't have to fight it. And some refer to this as being the first hyper twister.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Waited 90 minutes for a
minutes.
night ride.
That's not that bad.
No, that's really good. I think that's on average for what. And I've only ridden Steel Vengeance a couple times at night.
Alrighty, so that's Raging Bull. If you haven't put your scores in yet, make sure to, so that way I can get all the scores. I've got I have all of them so far for everything that's been put in. But if you haven't put your scores in, make sure to. And if that is that, then we will be moving on to our next coaster, which will be Renegade, the GCI wooden coaster at Valley Fair. So that'll be the next one we're doing. And I just need to put in the score here.
Lindsay, yes, you are correct. He was part of that horrible dark ride at DCA.
Oh god,
Superstar Limo.
Superstar Limo.
Yeah.
I never got to do that. Or actually, what years was it open?
I wrote an opening year, and I think it was only open. I think Chris may know this. I think it was only open for maybe a year or two, not even a year. I can't remember. I mean, it was just so I was just so confused. You know, I've ridden this coaster, Renegade, and I remember the first drop being awesome, but I have to watch this because I don't remember a whole lot of the layout other than the station flyby.
Alrighty, so
October 2001, Chris wrote it. I'll have to look at when I have a POV of it up on my channel. I got to see what it says on that, actually. It closed in less than a year. Okay, that answers it.
Oh, really? Yikes.
Yeah. Same with, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that a similar scenario for Rocket Rods as well?
I've never even heard of that ride. So I
at Disneyland? It was
the
the people mover. They added these weird. I have a POV again, a POV of it, but it's like I don't know how to describe it. It was like fast people movers, and at one time the cars used to do wheelies, but then they stopped doing that. By the time I wrote it, it wasn't doing wheelies.
That's pretty weird. I'll have to look at a video of it.
Renegade at night. I would love to ride Renegade at night. That would be fun.
It does seem like a fun night ride. So if you haven't yet, make sure to put in your scores. I have all of them that have come through so far. Yeah, I need to look at that ride. I haven't even seen it, I don't think. The rocket thing. But yeah.
You've made me feel old, Chris. You were a little kid when that was open.
Oh wow. Ooh man, okay. We're getting similar scores, all right. At least for these first two.
What are you using for that, by the way, the score calculator thing?
It's literally an average calculator. I look at the chat. I even have I think the website up on the link is in the chat. I literally just put all the numbers in that people say, and then I plug it in, and that's how I get the average.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something that they were doing, like entering it in somehow.
No, I'm doing it.
Wow.
It is a little difficult for me, but it's not too bad, all things considered. I've got used to it. Our next coaster we'll be doing is Joker at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. If I can, yeah, there we go. Yes, here we go. So Of course, an RMC coaster RMC hybrid conversion of Roar, which I actually I did like it, but I do think that Joker's a lot better. But
Oh, I
yeah.
agree. It's uh, I don't really like to compare rides or anything like that, but it's to me the least intense RMC, but it's still loads of fun.
Yeah, it's a fun ride. I'd have to agree. At least from what I've ridden, it's definitely the least intense RMC I've done. It's not really even close. Um, it's there's some moments where I don't know, it just for me, there's some moments where it just kind of feels like it doesn't really do a whole lot, but there's also some great airtime moments. But
Sure.
out of I do rank these, so out of the RMCs I've ridden, it is my least favorite, but it's still like one of my like absolute favorite coasters I've done. So I mean, it's still a great ride. But one I've only ever done once because of my experience at Discovery Kingdom when I went. So uh, that's I'll have to give it another try. But at least I got it in back row. That was pretty good. So make sure to put in your scores if you haven't already. I've pretty much, and I guess Sean, you said you weren't really rating these, so you're not gonna give like a score out of 10, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer or anything,
No,
but
it's cool.
I stopped rating in 1999. I was spending way too much mental energy, and then once I stopped doing that, everything just seemed a lot more fun. So that's why I never went back to it. You know, I have favorites, but I just don't rate anything anymore.
Oh,
But
Rocket Rods. It was from 98 to 2000.
oh, okay.
So before I was around, basically.
I'm surprised it was that long. Yeah, no, that makes me feel old too.
Yeah, I always hesitated to say that because of that.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm definitely an older enthusiast. There's no question about it. But um, it's interesting because like we were talking about talking trimless earlier. They asked me, they were telling me about well, how was hypersonic on opening day? It seems like 50 years ago. To me, it seems like 10 years ago. you know, which I have more footage of that coming out too. By the way, still John, you ranked top one. Oh, my Lee. My ranked top 1,000 coaster videos. Okay, it was a joke though.
Oh yeah, the April Fool's one.
Yeah, I'm not going to do an April Fool's joke that I know of. I had an idea, but it fell through, so I don't think I'm going to do one this year.
The next
Lightning.
the next coaster I have, yes, Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom. Decided to start it up.
Man, I love this thing.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. Uh, at least to me, definitely. Like it seems to get overshadowed by Storm Chaser. And it used to be like a coaster that a lot of people talked about, and now it's just kind of, I don't know. It feels like it's kind of faded a little bit into obscurity, at least when it comes to American coasters.
I agree. It's not talked about as enough. I mean, it's strange because feeling wise, it feels like Storm Chaser and Lightning Run both have really strong negative G's and twists and all that, so they're kind of similar in that nature. But I need to give this thing a lot more rides for sure.
So make sure, like I guess for like I said for the other ones, make sure to put in your scores if you haven't already. So alrighty. Ooh, the restraints were painful for you. Interesting.
I've heard that from a lot of people. A lot of really close friends say they don't like it because of that, but I have never once. That doesn't make it. I mean, it's strange for me that I don't have any problem with restraints on that. But like we were talking about earlier, Sky Rush, where people say they don't have a problem riding it because of that. So one of my friends likes T3 more than Lightning Run and Mystic Timbers. Ooh.
That I mean, I could see that. I mean, it just maybe I could see that already. So I'll get the score. I think all of the one. Oh boy, this is gonna make things complicate. Oh no. Well, this is for the first time. I guess we're gonna have a tie. So that's something.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna have a tie. at a spot, so that's interesting. So okay, I'm gonna get the next coaster, which I have to put in a separate thing because it has an ad before, I guess, which I made note of. Yes, I actually did that for once.
I saw that on the notes, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I was wondering what that meant.
Yeah, that meant there was literally an ad before the video, so I'm gonna need to reshare it because of that. Which I guess that's something I've learned to do now. But yes, here we go. And this is Soaring. I didn't change the banner. Soaring with Dragon at Hefei Sunak Land in China. I probably butchered that, but I tried.
You did better than I would. I want to ride this thing so bad.
Yeah, when it first came out, I had a lot of interest in it, but I guess over time, I guess just with Intamin's more recent project, it's kind of faded a little bit, but it still looks really awesome. That non-inverting loop also looks absolutely amazing also. So
if I'm not mistaken, is this not Intamin's first large coaster with the rapid transfer track thing? Switch track?
I think you're right on that.
Okay.
But this coaster looks great for sure. Yeah, it looks really good.
Well, I mean, I guess the closest we have to this in the States would be Pantheon.
Yeah, I think but I guess, yeah, I would say so, yes.
Okay. Hefei? Oh, okay. Hefei Sunak Land. Okay. They put it phonetically in there, I guess. So
let's see. I'm trying. If you haven't put in your scores yet, like I said, I'll be doing that. And
yes, Haggard has one as well. Yep, and so does. You're right, Pantheon.
Yeah, but Soaring predates it by like 2 years or something like that. I think it opened 2017. Maybe wrong on that. Alrighty, I think that's all the scores for this coaster. So I'm gonna calculate it from here, and already we got it. Okay, so oh wait, nope, another one came in. I don't think it's gonna affect this too much, but let's see. All right, got it. So let me get that, and then I'll present kind of like the how it is. All right. Alrighty, so for what out of 10 in 5th place according to I guess our scores is Raging Bull at Six Flags Great America with a score of 8.125 out of 10. So that was in 5th. In 4th/3rd, this was the tie I was referring to. We actually have both Joker and Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom.
Wow.
There were higher scores for Lightning Run than Joker in general, but there were also lower ones that would kind of countered out, where Joker was pretty consistent. Like we had like some 10s and like 6s for Lightning Run. So those are tied for, I guess, 4th and 3rd. So that leaves 2nd place, which is actually Renegade at Valley Fair, the GCI coaster that not too many people have gotten to ride, it seems like, just because of where it's located. And in 1st place is Soaring with Dragon at Hefei Sunak Land with a score of an 8.81 out of 10. Oh, I should mention, Renegade got an 8.525, and Joker and Lightning Run got an 8.5 if I didn't say that. So that's how it came out. Pretty similar scores. But yeah, should have put T3 in this group.
I just saw that.
That would have been very interesting. Yeah, all seem very similar in quality. That's kind of what I was going for when I did these, because I got one and I'm like, I better make them all similar in quality just so it's at least close. So yeah. All right, so I guess I'm trying to think. Yeah, we'll go with topics to discuss for our next thing. We're doing pretty good on time, it looks like. And my first question, actually, I need to change this real quick. I didn't change this. But my first topic, this one is more general and you guys can contribute. this is more of just another question. But dream coaster for Cedar Point.
Ooh.
We talked about this in the I guess beforehand. So, but I guess I'll go first. For me, I won't go too in depth, but of course, I'm a fan of X2. I really want to do Egenica. I think it would be awesome if they did get an SNS 4D coaster. I know it's insanely expensive, so I don't know if it would ever happen, but I feel like it would be a great fit for the park just because it'd be so different from anything they really have right now. I mean, Gatekeeper, I guess, is a wing coaster, but I don't think it's really got. It's very different, so SNS 40, and I'm seeing that in the chat too.
I'm seeing that as well. See, it's weird. I've been going to that park so long that it's just I see it a lot differently than probably most in here. But a raptor, a big raptor. I mean, T-Rex. Obviously, we're not going to probably see that now. I think that's been shelved. The T-Rex stuff.
Yeah, it's been shelved.
But a large B&M flying coaster after doing Flying Dinosaur. I know that was one of your ones that you were looking forward to riding. If they could do something even grander than that, I would freak out. So maybe something like that. I don't know.
I'd like to also if we didn't get a 4D, which I honestly don't know if it'll happen. It's just interesting because now that King's Dominion is getting the free spin, it's kind of did they really call up SNS just to do this one little coaster? I don't think so. I think there's something else. I don't know if it's the Axis or what, but I think they have to have something else. Maybe I'm wrong. It just seems weird that would be all they'd want. Although that could be as simple as retrofitting their existing drop towers, because they are doing that. So that could be something.
Sure.
Vekoma flying coaster. That would be very interesting to see. Cedar Fair hasn't worked with Vekoma in a while. I don't believe in terms of actually creating a new ride, but it would be awesome to see. Definitely something very different from the B&Ms. Sure. RMC Raptor, as you mentioned, or I guess a T-Rex, basically. Gerstlauer Infinity with 15 inversions. I don't feel like Cedar Point would go for that. It would be awesome, but I don't think they're going to go for that. But it would be great to see, for sure. Axis. If they were to get an Axis, I'd imagine they'd wait until, the first ones come around. That seems like what they've been doing with some of their rides, Steel Vengeance obviously wasn't the first RMC. Valraven wasn't the first. I guess maybe that's not a good example because they did get the first Intamin Giga, but that was sort of based off the Hyper, which they'd already made. So, a coaster with actually good theming, something indoors. Yeah, they could totally use an indoor coaster, especially with Disaster Transport gone.
Well, I mean, they had an indoor coaster with space theming before, and then the theming just went to hell real quick. So they would have to have it done right, I guess you could say.
It seems like with some of their rides, they've definitely been at least with Copperhead Strike and even Mystic Timbers with the shed. They at least are trying in Orion, I guess. So it would be. I wouldn't put it past them. It would be cool to see. They could definitely use an indoor coaster.
And congratulations to Lindsay working at Cedar Point. That's awesome. I'm sure I'll be up there quite a few times. So if you see me, say hello.
Ooh, that's awesome. That's incredible. I'd love to work there, but obviously with where I live, not really too realizable. But that's awesome. That's great for you, Lindsay. Let's see. An infinity coaster that breaks the steepest drop record, basically. Yeah, that would be interesting. They do already have Valraven. And they would probably need something to kind of slow down the drop. So I don't know if they would do it, but I don't know. Maybe if it was also part of the 15 inversion coaster, that would. It would have to be something like that. Yeah, where it'd be steepest drop and the 15 inversions. Basically, I guess Smiler, but with the world's steepest drop and an added inversion. That'd be pretty cool. Let's see. A roller coaster that goes around the entire perimeter of the park with 75 airtime hills.
Jeez.
That would be something to see for sure. Oh, a mock hyper possibly. That'd be cool. Although they do already have hyper coasters, but I'd love to see a mock hyper just anywhere, especially here in North America. They look so good. But yeah, I think that's all of them. If I'm not seeing any of the other ones, so I think we'll move on to our next thing.
Sure.
I'm surprised we didn't see the okay, I just saw a few come in. B&M Strata or Polar Coaster if they ever want to replace Magnum. That would be interesting. I don't know that would be pretty unfortunate if they removed Magnum, even if from someone from me who didn't necessarily think it was that amazing. It would still be unfortunate, but if it were to happen, hopefully
just like Magnum's layout, I've had years where I hated that ride and years where I thought it was the best coaster at Cedar Point. It depends on so much. I know people that's the only thing they ride at Cedar Point. So it definitely has its fans for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Magnum, it's a ride I definitely want to give it another try. I did ride it twice. And I guess I just hope I get better rides in the future. It was still good, just not as good as I was maybe thinking it'd be. Oh, I was surprised no one brought up the GCI Infinity, like the new hybrid thing. I'm surprised no one brought that up, or even just a GCI Woody in general.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe because
rumored.
that's not. I mean, it hasn't been. I mean, they have that little section down in Florida, but I think a lot of parks are going to wait and see to see if that works as well as they say it does. I mean, there's no fault in that, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I guess this was more Dream Coasters, so I would have thought maybe someone would have liked to see it. But I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure we would like to see it. It's just maybe not the top thing. Yeah. All right. So for our next topic, this is for you, Sean. This is a question I had. That you can go however in depth you want to on this. But what has been your favorite part about being around the coaster and theme park industry? Just, I guess, for as long as you have, if that makes sense.
Number one, great question. Thank you. For me personally, a lot of it has to do with seeing behind the scenes and seeing how stuff is put together. So for me personally, why I'm an enthusiast is, and why I love coasters and rides is half of it is for the thrill aspect and half of it is the engineering aspect of it. I'm not an engineer, but it fascinates me on what goes into making a good ride. And I was able early on, when I became an enthusiast, to be working with the parks and getting to see how stuff was created. And a lot of my friends I used to do trips with back in the late 90s and early 2000s are now making the decisions and designing these rides. And I just can't imagine what that's like. I never went as far as wanting to work for a park because I worked with enough parks on things that I realized, for me personally, that if I would start looking at parks as work, I would not enjoy them as much. So I purposely stood back and became more of a behind the scenes kind of person in regards to that, as opposed to wanting to jump in and be the one that create that, you know. And I know people can make it work, but I don't think it would work for me to work at a park. To me, parks are an escape. I don't want them to become work. If any of that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense totally. I could see that. I mean, I myself, just with the idea of even maybe working at a park, I guess as a write up or something. It's interesting, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't even know if I did it, what if I didn't like it. I'm worried what would that do to my view of everything. But no, so I can understand that. But it's cool that a lot of the people that you knew are now going out there creating these things and working with the parks. That's pretty incredible, and just to be able to see that's pretty insane.
It's unreal. I mean, I have a friend, I don't really want to mention his name because he kind of keeps this low key, but he's designed some of our favorite things in rides. And I'm number one, I'm proud that I know someone like, I'm proud of him that he's doing that, but I'm happy that I know someone like that had, even early on when we were doing all these trips cross country and stuff, you could see the desire, like, okay, there's something here. Like if that person applies themselves and really wants themselves to like succeed in industry, they will, and they have. And it all comes down to me being able to experience all that stuff. I know a lot of the younger enthusiasts, when they watch some of my older footage and stuff like that, and they're just like, man, like, how did you know to record that back then? And a lot of it was because I was with people that knew what they were talking about, and they were just like, hey, this might be something you might want to record, or random things like that. But no, I'm actually not Coaster Key. I know him, but it's someone else. I'll just say that. So I love talking with them, like off camera, and going to parks with them, and they'll explain to me, well, this is what I did for this part, and this is what I did for this design, and it just blows my mind because that gets me excited just as much as writing them.
Yeah, that's like really cool. Man, that's incredible.
Where in the heck did you find that, Lindsay?
What?
He quoted something about me being an older enthusiast in a circle of younger ones. All right. It's true, but yeah.
For I guess our next thing, I guess this can be, I guess it's gonna be for this question was from Coaster Roaster. Actually, I did a community post and for some of these topics to discuss, and I thought this was a pretty good one. Okay. But I guess this can be, I guess you can also, if you're in the chat, you can also let us know. But some of your favorite defunct coasters and what you liked about them. Sean, you want to begin with this?
Oh, boy. Well, like Steel Phantom, for instance. I love the intensity of that ride. I know it was in the minority of the people that love that ride, but it was still by far my favorite aero looper. It was just so incredibly intense. I missed that one, even though I do think Phantom's Revenge is better. Big Bad Wolf. Oh man, there's a lot. But it, when like in folks that are younger or, your age, Carrick, you see what's available today and what's opening now. And you never think when you're riding these new rides that someday they will be defunct. And so my advice is just enjoy every ride, document as much as you can about it, even if you don't like the ride, because it could be removed very quickly. And then, believe it or not, there's rides that you may not care for, but when they're gone, you'll miss them. So I wasn't the largest fan of Vortex at Kings Island. It was a big coaster in my coaster career for me to kind of get over and get into the hobby. But the last ride I took on a closing day was the best ride I had in 20 years on it. And I missed that ride, even though it wasn't one of my favorites. It's weird going to Kings Island and not seeing it there. So things like that. I mean, I'd have to actually look at my track record and things like that to kind of go down and say, oh man, I missed this, I missed this, I missed this. But those are some of the major ones, I think.
Yeah. Big Bad Wolf seemed really cool, and Steel Phantom. I don't know about that one. I don't know how I would have liked it, but it's cool to see that there's at least some enthusiasts who really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I never had a bad ride on it. I own one of the cars from it. Well, I used to. I don't even have it anymore, but
yeah. I'm curious to see the chat if we have anything. Stamford Bridge, yes. Colossus. I of course I wasn't even around when it was supposedly like really good, and I don't even know if there's an actual POV of it like from its opening year. I don't believe there is. If there is, I haven't seen it, but it just seems like a ride that would have been so incredible. You wrote it before 2000, correct, Sean? Or Colossus? Colossus, I imagine.
Yeah, I wrote it in 95, but that was after it had the double dip removed and everything, so I never got to ride it in its original configuration. But yeah, it was decent, the original, I thought.
Mr. Cole Roaster plugging the Discord. We're doing a defunct coaster tournament on there. So yeah, that's I guess another reason to join other than the Guess the Coaster Live, which I mentioned earlier, which will be happening next Saturday. Let's see. And I guess for my favorite defunct coaster, it would probably be Roar at Discovery Kingdom. It wasn't amazing, but it was just fun. At least I thought. And I still like that it's Joker now, but there are some times where I'm like, I do remember how fun it was, at least for me. Coaster Scorpion, her mother's actually ridden Great American Scream Machines. That's pretty cool.
That was a brutal ride.
Yeah, I've heard stuff like that. They had a nice soundtrack though, for whatever that's worth. But
I don't even think I've ever heard that. That's amazing.
I don't apparently it didn't play in the station that much, which I guess is why not that many people know about it. But it has a nice soundtrack. It's somewhere out there on YouTube.
Okay.
Let's see. Cobra at La Ronde.
Ooh.
And Mean Streak. Oh man. Those are the two defunct coasters that he's ridden. And he was actually sad to see Cobra go, so.
Yeah, Cobra was better, I will give you that.
But I guess those two would be somewhat memorable rides. So I mean, it's something. The defunct coasters I've done are Roar, Colossus, and it's like last year, and it was just terrible, at least for me. And then Minor Mike, which in Vegas, which was my first out of state coaster, and now it's gone. Firehawk, I know a lot of people seem to be. It was a coaster like I hadn't heard too much about it until like when it closed. Then it seemed like everyone was like pouring their praise on it.
That's my point. That like once something's removed, everybody kind of misses it. I mean, I liked that ride, but I enjoyed it more where it came from. It ran not as good in Six Flags Ohio or World's Adventure, but I'd ridden it a lot prior to it being at Kings Island.
Yeah. Eagles Fortress looked amazing.
I wish I would have ridden that.
That one is it's sad just seeing some of these defunct coasters. That one like is one of the ones that hurts me the most, just because there's probably nothing that will ever be built that'll be. I mean, that's with any coaster, but especially that one.
Sure.
There's no way. It's too bad, but I guess it's just it was probably too crazy for its own good, unfortunately. So yeah. Let's see. Dueling Dragons. That's another popular one. And
I'm officially old. When you see my parents did Dueling Dragons.
I saw that, yeah. Skyrider. Yeah, someone mentioned Skyrider, but that one actually is, I guess in the sense of it being at Wonderland, it is defunct, but it actually operates somewhere in Italy somewhere.
Yes.
So, yeah. Volcano, the Blast Coaster, Fire Dragon. Oh, like like Fire Dragon, like Dueling Dragons and Colossus are all up there. Dang.
Well, Volcano was the first coaster I ever got a roll back on.
Nice. Still haven't ever had that happen to me, but it'll happen one day maybe. But that's. Have you ever gotten a rollback on Dragster? You probably
twice.
Two. Yeah, yep. I guess that was a dumb question, but
I've gotten. Well, I mean, I haven't had one since like 2004, but I've gotten them on my first ride on Volcano was a rollback. I've gotten one on Italian or Blacklot Stunt Coaster, one on Flight of Fear, and I know there's another one I'm missing. Maverick in the launch tunnel. It didn't make it. We had to come back. So,
dang. Wow. That Maverick, that one,
it wasn't really it was like an aborted launch. Like we were halfway through, it's picking up speed and it stopped, and we just kind of came out of the tunnel, and then it took like 5 years to go back, to reset. It was on media day actually for it.
Wow. Sanford Bridge, Mountain Express, which was a Schwarzkopf Wildcat at Magic Mountain. Oh man, yeah, that thing. I had heard about it, but there's not too many people that I have heard from who've actually ridden it. That thing was not around for, I think, insanely long. I'm not sure, but that seemed like a cool ride. Crystal Beach Cyclone.
Yeah.
If you didn't get like injured on that ride, I guess.
Yeah,
that thing looked crazy. It's like up there with like Bob's, which was at like Riverview Park. I know that I heard that was insane, and then like Giant Skyrocket, which that thing was oh my god, that thing. I can't even like I've seen pictures of that thing. It doesn't even look like it should have existed. But yeah, it did anyways, I guess. Last question is, and this was for you, Sean, specifically, and this was from Joy. Most terrifying roller coaster experience.
I have a few. First time I rode Williams Grove Cyclone in Pennsylvania. It's defunct. I've never ridden a coaster with straight track that had airtime. And probably anytime I've ridden Dodonpa or the original Dodonpa before the launch is terrifying. I mean, it's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And last October, because it's a half an hour from me now, I rode Blue Flash finally. And I have never been more terrified in my life than I took my ride on that. And I rode it one time, and one time was enough. And that, you know.
Yeah.
And you mentioned X. The first time I rode X, the original X, my first ride on that terrified me as well.
Yeah, those are all really good ones. I mean, yeah, X2 is basically mine. I'd say Montezuma's Revenge as well, just because at the time it was my first like true launch coaster. I guess Pony Express is the launch coaster, but that thing isn't that forceful. And it was my first coaster with an inversion, so.
Oh, nice. That's still my favorite ride at Knott's.
Yeah. Wait, what do you say?
That's still my favorite ride at Knott's, Montezuma.
Oh, really? It's a great
absolutely.
ride. It's a great ride.
And I just have to clarify, Lee, you're right. Scandia Screamer, probably it's right up there with Blue Flash as being terrifying, bar none. The first time I rode it, that's when it didn't have trims on it either. So
that's one coaster that I'm so mad that I didn't get to ride, being from California. I didn't know about it for like several of my first years as a coaster enthusiast. Like I heard nothing about it, and then like literally like about a year before it closed, I like started hearing about it. I'm like, oh well, one day I'll go out and ride it. And then it was just like, oh, it's gonna close. I'm like, dang it, I can't get to it. That was unfortunate. First ride on Viper at Magic Mountain. Oh yeah. Especially back in the day, like when that was new. Yeah, that was quite a big deal. I heard about that.
Oh yeah.
I heard it had like some crazy waits during its like first year.
I bet.
First two rides on Magnum and Fury 325, just because of the height. Yeah, those would be pretty intimidating. Two. Sorry, your first ride, but it's those two coasters. Nice. Superman's Pretzel Loop. Yeah, the pretzel loops on the flyers.
Yeah.
Those things are crazy intense, but I love it. And Flying Dinosaur has like what, two of those, like sort of not pretzel loops, but like those lie.
Yeah, I mean, Flying Dinosaur is right on the edge of being almost too intense because of those, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like a crazy ride. That and Starry Sky Ripper, that's like the B&M flyer that it kind of seems like a Dutchman almost, but it's not.
Yeah, I want to ride that as well.
That one looks crazy. Stealth at Thorpe Park was your first launch coaster. That's a way to start.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Accelerator, I guess, was my second, third, because I guess I did do Pony Express, but
I think Flight of Fear might have been my first launch coaster, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look, but that might have been my first launch coaster.
Yeah, that would have been, it would have been one of the earlier ones because, I guess not really, because there's like the Schwarzkopfs and the arrows, but yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the original X. Yeah, if you like, I can't even imagine like riding it like when it was brand new and like there was nothing else like it and you didn't hear about like anyone's opinions on it probably or barely. Like that would have been like insane. Wow. Like some of these, a random traveling wildcat. With some pretty loose restraints thing. That would be pretty, that'd be pretty wild.
Oh yeah.
Blue Streak at night. I imagine you mean the one at Conneaut.
Yeah. Yes. In 1997, they had an enthusiast event when they reopened Blue Streak, and we had ERT from dusk till dawn, 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. And when that thing would make the turnaround, after a turnaround, it would do this dip, and there would be sparks from the train
Oh my god.
like showering the structure. It was crazy.
That sounds insane. Oh man. I like hearing some of these. Um let's see. Zoomerang. I guess for a large coaster, a boomerang would be pretty intimidating. That boomerang was at Knott's was one of the first ones, but I had already ridden the other one, so I was kind of used. But yeah, that totally, I could see that. Any ride on Mako with a highly concernable amount of room. If you have like a lot of room on those, that'd be pretty insane on the one hill, at least from what I've heard. That sounds pretty wild. Let's see. Oh, Blue Streak was the only coaster I thought I may get injured on. That's crazy.
I can totally understand that, Chris.
And if anyone knows what this is, RC48 at a carnival. It's a traveling coaster. And it's sus. Also Windstorm, which is crazy. I've never even heard of RC48.
It's, if I'm not mistaken, as an RC48, like it used to be at the New Jersey piers and it had shoulder restraints. If so, I don't know if I've ridden one of those. I've ridden the other RC models. Windstorms are crazy. I agree.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows, but like the indoor coaster that's at Six Flags Over Texas is a Windstorm, but mirror imaged by Premier.
Oh, Runaway Mountain, right?
Yeah, it's a Windstorm, but just the layout mirrored.
Nice. Alrighty. I think that's everything. I think we went a little over time, but that's all right.
Okay.
Pretty much that's I guess this will bring us now to the end of stream Q&A. So this will be the Q&A for the last chance of Q&A, and it'll pretty much wrap up the stream.
Okay.
If you want to say anything beforehand, you're free to.
Just number one, I need. I don't know when I got lazy, but this whole thing you've done and is amazing. You know, my streams are really straightforward with no split screens or any of that stuff. I've been wanting to like the friends I've been talking about that work in industry, try to do like a split screen with them, or at least forward them to other channels that might want to do interviews with them. It'd be different for me to do that because I would be asking more questions about old times as opposed to new stuff, you know. But this has been fun, man. Time flew by.
Yeah.
You know, and I needed this so bad, man. I had a rough couple last weeks, and it's nice to just breathe and sit and talk to people that share similar things. How did I like the boomerang at Knott's Berry Farm? Okay, so I have a friend that's an Imagineer that would literally have accelerometers on him, and he would ride coasters to measure forces and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And for whatever reason, the Knott's Berry Farm boomerang has a half a G more than any of the other boomerangs, and nobody understands why. It did. I know that might sound minimal as far as forces go, but they're all manufactured the same way. They all have the same stats.
That's pretty significant.
So for some reason, that one, it was different force-wise. I have never seen that info like printed out anywhere, like with the park or anything, but there was something different about that one. So
that might be a reason why I thought it was. Well, I've only ridden 2 boomerangs, but it was easily my least favorite. I wasn't necessarily because it was intense, but it was just pretty rough when I rode it.
Sure, it was a rough one.
And that might be why. That might have a reason.
Possibly.
To do with it. Now it's on a roof in Indonesia. So
that's what I heard. Yeah.
I don't even think it's opened yet, but it's called Boomerang Hypercoaster. Technically, it might be a hypercoaster if you measure it from ground up because it's on top of a building. Yeah, which is funny. What are some wooden coasters you do not want to get arm-seed?
As much as I love RMC stuff, I wouldn't want to see like the Beast get RMC'd. I wouldn't want to see like Shivering Timbers in its original form RMC'd. Man, there's a lot out there. I still think wooden coasters are still going to be around. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to be seeing quite I think if you think about just how they're progressing, sure, there's the RMC, the topper track, and then now GCI has that. What is it, Titan track? Is that what's called?
Yeah, Titan track.
I still think other manufacturers are going to do stuff with wood coasters, but just stuff we haven't seen before. So stay tuned, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, that it's going to be interesting to see how wooden coasters, where they go from here, and I guess also the hybrids as well, because I guess the Titan track, that might be more considered that, but it's interesting. I would just say most wooden coasters, but there's definitely a few I could totally see, and it would probably be a good thing.
Like I would love to see the Boss RMC. I think that would be a great one. Cool. Yeah. Oh boy.
Ooh.
I don't mind frame coaster.
This must be a typo. What is your favorite? I'm trying to see what it might be.
Maybe Mine Ride coaster
or Mine Train.
Mine Train
could be.
Oh wow, that's a good one. You know what? I'll say Fiesta Texas is the last one that Aero built.
Express, nice.
Yeah, I rode that just a few months ago, and I forgot how just that's a Schilke design as well, and it's peppy, it's comfortable, it's smooth, and it uses the terrain. So I'm going to say that one, if that's what you meant.
That's what I would guess. That's like I mean, it sounds similar. Question of if you've been on the Rise of the Resistance.
I have not. And Carrick knows this. One of the Imagineers that developed that ride is one of my best friends, and I promised my first ride would be with him on the California one. So next time I'm out in the LA area, probably for work, I will take my first ride with him on that. Even if I went to Florida tomorrow and I got one of the spots to ride it, I would not ride it because I need to ride that with him. So
oh yeah, totally, man.
All right.
I have not been on Rise of the Resistance either, but I think if you've seen my
it looks incredible.
Yeah, it looks incredible. So good. Phantasialand or Europa? Have you? I assume you've been to these two, but a while back, probably.
Oh man. Oh, that's unfair. Europa's one of my favorite parks ever. Okay, it is just unbelievable. But so is Phantasialand. Now, the Phantasialand's operations when I was there weren't the best.
I've actually heard that. So
yeah, but like Europa's operations are better than parks like, in my opinion, like Cedar Point. I mean, they just crank people through. Everybody's friendly. I'm gonna have to say Europa, but I love Phantasialand. I do. I love them both.
Yeah, both look incredible, for sure. If I had to pick one, I would rather go to like right now, I guess, assuming they're open. Assuming they're open, whatever. I would probably have to go with that is also tough. I think I would have to go with Europa Park. It doesn't necessarily have as good of a coaster collection. It has more, but I think the top coasters at Fantasia look better, but Europa just looks so good. So
is that a jet I hear?
Yeah, there's a jet, some flying above me. Yep.
Okay, I thought it was over because I live in a flight pattern, so I have jets flying over. I was like, is that over my house?
No, that one's mine. No, that's mine.
All right.
Yeah, the question was Mine Train. Let's go. We actually got that. That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Fun fact, Invertigo pulls more Gs than I-305.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, I haven't ridden either, but I think I've heard that before.
Invertigo in the back seat, which is actually the front seat, actually pulls 5 something in the loop and in part of the Cobra roll. It's only seat on the train that really does, but
I think I-305's thing is more sustained, so that's
sure.
So I could believe it. Blackpool or Kennywood? Wow, that's pretty.
Blackpool, hands down, man. I know Kennywood's 3 hours from me, but Blackpool is just. I've only been there on one trip, and that was when Ace went in 2002. But I'm telling you, It was one of the most magical coaster days I've ever had. 2 of those days I was there, I ever had at a park. I've been talking to Scott from Blackpool Pleasure Beach Experience. Is that his channel? I think
Yeah,
it's his
that's
channel name.
it.
Yeah, I've been sharing some of my old footage and stuff with him, and we got into this email conversation about that park, and I just love that place, man. I miss it so much. I need to get back there too.
That's cool. I've heard mixed things on Blackpool, but it's good to hear someone who really enjoyed it. So awesome to hear. It seems like a really cool park.
Yeah, it was just a super awesome time when I was there.
Interesting question here. Which park maybe that you've been to? Which parks do you think have improved the most in the past 10 to 15 years? Or really, I guess we'll go with most, yeah.
Yeah, so I might be a little bit biased here because it's one of my home parks, but Kings Island has been kicking major butt, especially last year. When they were Paramount, I wasn't the biggest fan of them. That's when I worked with the park the most. So I spent a lot of time kind of behind the scenes with that park during those times, but it wasn't my favorite time for sure. And then when Cedar Fair took over, it took a while, but you could tell that things were changing for the better. So I'll say that. Kentucky Kingdom definitely is better without Six Flags. I'll tell you that. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. The last visit I had to Magic Mountain was really good. Previous to that, I had some hit and miss and some downright awful days at that park. But the last time I went, it was a huge improvement. Same with Six Flags St. Louis.
Nice. Yes, Magic Mountain, it does seem to be improving. In a lot of ways, especially like they're redoing the areas and everything that were like some of the uglier areas. They still need to get to Samurai Summit. That needs an overhaul, but I'm sure they'll get there. They've been doing a great job. Just overall, it seems like the past few years.
Sure.
Best and worst SLC you've been on? Well, I think covered your best, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, the worst, hands down, F2 it's in Japan at Nasu Highland.
Nasu Highland.
Yeah, it's really bad. Really bad.
Wow. I've only done Kong, so it's both the best and worst. I thought it was okay at Discovery Kingdom. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
Kong's pretty bad, but F2 is way worse.
Yeah. Worst coaster you've ever ridden?
Worst, Goudrix in France. That's definitely one of the top ones. That or Viper at Great Adventure. One of those two were ones that I was offended when I left the ride. I was just like, and I'm not proud to admit this, but my first ride on Flight of Fear at Kings Island in '96 for season pass holder ERT, I waited 6 hours for it because they had one train on it. Oof. And it was when it had the hard restraints, not like even the padded ones. And I attempted to light my season pass on fire in the parking lot because I was that angry. But I figured out how to ride it. Now I enjoy riding it because it doesn't have shoulder restraints. So,
dang.
Yeah.
Flight of Fear. I haven't done any of those premier like spaghetti bowl coasters, but with
they're intense.
With hard restraints, those don't seem super fun.
No, but can I ask you a quick trivia question regarding the restraints?
Sure.
Okay, if anybody, I know some people are gonna get this, but what coaster do we have to thank for having Flight of Fear and those types of rides with lap bars only?
I do not know that one, so I'll be curious to see the answer whenever it comes up.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if anybody gets it, but I will say this is a coaster that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, well, that makes it easy. Yeah. Do you think the wooden coaster at Night Valley looks like... Oh, do you think wood coaster? Yes. Okay, yeah. Wood coaster at Night Valley looks like the best GCI.
You know what? I have not even really... I've seen pictures of it, but I've never watched any video of that ride. And maybe I should because...
I wouldn't fault you if you didn't. The thing looks insane. So if you don't want to like look at it for that reason, it
It's not
looks
I didn't want
crazy.
to. It's just for some reason it's one of those coasters that just left my radar. I forgot about it until you guys mentioned it.
Yeah, wood coaster looks insane. Although there are some wooden coasters in China that I myself, I just looking from the POV, there's some that are a little more excited for, specifically Python and Bamboo Forest, uh, and Jungle Dragon, which I forget in Happy Valley Chunking. Let's see. Oh, do you plan on going to Florida for the grand opening of Velocicoaster?
I would love to, but just the way I'm rebuilding for work. I travel a lot for work, so I'm rebuilding a tour schedule right now, especially after the last 2 weeks of all the people we met. And as it stands right now, I'm going to be working in Florida in the fall.
Okay.
And usually, if I'm in an area like in California and everything, I have the ability to take a week off or a few days off before after work. And if that's the case, I'm going to be hanging out down there and hitting all the new stuff, and I can't wait to ride. Dan from Midway Mayhem, I've already talked to him, and I want to do a couple parks with him for sure. While we're down there. So
Going in the fall might be better anyways, just
mhm.
because like all the hype's gonna have died down a bit. It'll be easier to actually get on this stuff, and they'll
But
probably have worked out the kinks hopefully.
I've to be honest, I've been known to just say, "Oh, I can't wait till fall," and to catch a cheap flight down
Yep.
somewhere. But I probably won't. I'm playing a lot of makeup time right now because last year was so slow for us. But uh, all right, where am I at? It just did the thing again. I have to scroll back up.
Yeah. I don't
Uh,
know if you can say anything about this, but I'll just throw it out there in case.
uh,
Christian asks, any big hints at future park projects you may or that you may know of?
um,
If you don't want to answer it or
I,
can't,
I
that's
I
fine.
really can't. There's one that I really don't know much about, other than it's possibly going to be a game changer in the industry,
Okay.
and that will be known uh, fairly quick, sometime I would guess before the end of summer.
Okay.
Um, and again, I don't know enough about it that even if I wanted to talk about it, I can't. But there's something in the works from someone, and I'm not talking park here, uh, that could possibly be like, what? Like,
Oh
what?
man.
So if it happens, everybody will know what I'm talking about. Let's just say that.
I might come back to you on that. Like if that is something like that comes
I'll
around, that'd
say
be
this:
crazy.
if it's announced and it's what I oh boy, how do I say this? If it's announced and you ask me, then I'll be able to say yes, that's what it was.
Okay, cool. Alrighty.
Okay,
That sounds
so
good.
that's all I'll say. So
Yeah, that's pretty
it
cool though.
it will be exciting. So
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. Hopefully, it does get
yeah,
announced, like you said, relatively soon here.
yeah.
Um, over Georgia or Magic Mountain?
Oh man, for park wise, Georgia. I really enjoy Six Flags Over Georgia. I've that park. I've probably gone to that park more than any other Six Flags park. I had a season pass for that park at one point. Um, I don't know. I've done video shoots at that park, and just had a lot of ride time at that park, and I really enjoyed that park.
Yeah, both of them. I've heard mixed things on Over Georgia, but I've heard also some great things about it. And then Magic Mountain, of course. I mean, it's Magic Mountain, so yeah. I just saw. Shoot, I'm really late on this, so airtime rolls. If you're still on here somehow, see ya.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
see him. Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see him
and
say
then
goodbye either.
Violet Coronet. Also see ya if somehow you're still on here. Like I said, I guess that's my bad, but yeah. But thank you guys for coming on the stream, checking it out. All right. So, any other questions? I'm trying to see. If you have any that you like, you can point them out to me and I'll bring it up. But
I am trying to. Everybody's trying to guess what I'm saying, and I'm telling you right now, it's none of those. But then again, I don't know too much about it. I just know. Uh, consider. I'll just say this: considering who told me, if I was to tell you who told me, then you'd be like, "Oh, it's a done deal. It's going to happen." So I'll just leave it at that because it's somebody involved in the project. I'll just say that.
Oh my, Legoland is getting a
No.
giga.
That's funny.
Oh man. Oh, did anyone ever get the answer for that premiere coaster or no? Or like not the premiere. I guess maybe wasn't premiere, but the coaster that you said caused the reason for the lap bars. I didn't see.
Yeah. I mean, did you figure it out, Kirk?
Well, was it a premiere?
No.
Oh, well, nope.
Well, it had something premiere in it.
Ugh, oh man. And it had to have a launch, right? Or no?
Nope, not the chiller.
It can't be Big Apple, could it? Like, I guess that now has premiere, but like that doesn't even make sense.
I'll say this: it had premiere trains.
Premiere, like,
but
yeah,
it wasn't a premiere coaster.
Premiere trains. Is it it's steel? I would have to assume, or no? Okay,
That gives it away right there.
And now is it? Wait, no, I'm thinking of the wrong one. Shoot, now I'm having. Was it Son of Beast?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty.
Yep. Oh, coaster Shadart got it.
Yeah, he probably got it before I actually said it.
So
yeah,
the restraints on Son of Beast were the same type of restraints as on the Flight of Fears and all those spaghetti bowl things. Paramount developed that restraint, and then when Six Flags wanted to use it for their 2 spaghetti bowl coasters, they had to pay Paramount like some sort of fee or something. That's how it was told to me, because that was part of a Paramount design. And I'll never forget. Real quick story: after my first ride on Hypersonic on opening day in 2001. I was walking through the park, and I ran into somebody that I knew somebody in that works at the park, and they were with them, and they were like, "Oh, you're from Ohio, so Kings Island's your home park." I said, "Yeah, it's one of them," and I'm really close to the people that run the park. And he says, "Well, then you have to be really happy about what's happening to Flight of Fear." And I'm like, "What's happening to Flight of Fear?" And their Flight of Fear was closed that day, and they're like, "Oh, you mean the lap bar conversion?" And I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Oh yeah, because of Son of Beast, they figured out they could do, but that's when I went back to Kings Island. I was like, is the version here doing it? And then I had to keep quiet about it. But yeah, obviously that's what it was. So that was pretty fun. Lee.
Yeah, I have the question. I pulled it up.
Oh, okay. Oh man, dude, the Blackpool Wild Mouse was insane. So was the other wooden mouse just a few miles away at Southport. But the Blackpool one, that was no joke, man. That was it was amazing. I could easily see that being in one of someone's top 10 easily. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, just look it up on YouTube. It's just it was wrong. It was so wrong.
Wooden Wild Mouse. There's still a few out there. There's like I think 3 of them, but 2 of them are like completely ignored because they're I think in Indonesia, and so no one cares. I guess.
Yeah, I've ridden 3.
And then the other one's in Australia, I think. Yeah,
I've ridden 2 in the UK and 1 in Vancouver when it was there. So yeah, favorite onboard soundtrack. Ooh, well, I have a cop-out answer for that when people ask me, and it's the one I get to choose on Rip Ride Rocket, or whatever it's called, because I listen to like Pantera and Black Label Society when I'm riding. So
favorite on board for me, and it would be one that I've actually like experienced it. There's not even. I mean, X2's weird because I don't know if I would consider it because that's not. It's like, it's.
I would go. I would say that. I would.
Yeah, I would. That's probably. And yeah, your answer is not valid, I guess.
Yeah.
X2 would be up there. Guardians. I got Free Ride on it. I believe that's what the song's called. Pretty sure. When I got that was pretty good. So those are probably my 2. Honestly, I don't even know that many other coasters that I've done the where I've had onboard like soundtrack. I guess Incredicoaster, but and it's a good theme, but it's just I've already heard the Incredibles theme so many times, so it's not anything new. So yeah.
I'd have to think about an actual valid answer for that because I've written quite a few of those. But Karnan looks amazing, Mr. Cola Roaster.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Donkey Kong Off the Rails roller coaster is that open now?
No, this is the who mentioned it?
Anthony Manzano.
There is no. It hasn't opened yet. There is no such thing as a Donkey Kong coaster yet. It's not even officially announced, but it's in a lot of plans for the Super Nintendo World as like part of an expansion they were gonna do, and I think it's still happening. There's still like signs pointing that it's still happening, but that doesn't even exist yet. So we don't even know what the layout looks like. So at least most of us don't. I don't believe so. No one's written it.
I did know Fall Out Boy composed the Incredible Hulk soundtrack, but my rides on there, I didn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. It wasn't loud enough.
B&M Roar was too loud, or just
yeah.
Yeah,
or the volume wasn't up. I mean, at the break run we could hear it, but like during the ride I couldn't hear it at all. Okay.
Didn't they even use the Incredibles theme for the pre-show? They might have, honestly. I honestly can't remember the pre-show that well, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't anything that crazy, to be honest, but yeah. Yeah, someone explained Christian explained the Donkey Kong coaster a little bit. He probably knows more about it than I do. So yeah.
Again, without giving away, and I swear I'm not doing this to rub things in your face, folks, or anything, but one of the people I was talking about earlier did the patent for that coaster. So it's going to be amazing. And I'm talking about the Donkey Kong one.
Wow.
You can listen to the Hulk soundtrack when you get a chance. He's my favorite. Oh, nice. I've heard it. I've heard it like in videos and stuff like that. I just haven't heard it while I was riding. So awesome.
I was oh yes, yeah, that the pre-show. Okay, no, because I guess he was referring to my intro. Yes, I had the Incredibles theme. Yes, because yes, technically it is a ride soundtrack. That is why I had it on here. Let's see. Did Hard Rock Park have the rights to play music from the bands they named the coasters after? I'm pretty sure. I
heard they did because I know the Led Zeppelin one they did because B&M had to have that song when they were designing it. So the only to me, the only part of that ride that was synced to the music was the first drop. But I'm assuming they did. No, we're talking about Hard Rock Park now. As far as Freestyle Music Park, no, that's why they had to change everything, I think. But or they had to get cheaper rights or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and now that coaster's just hanging out somewhere.
You know what?
In
There's the answer. That's my favorite on-ride soundtrack right there.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Led Zeppelin ride right there.
And yeah, and like I said, now that coaster's just in Vietnam somewhere.
Yeah.
Hardly anyone's ridden it. I'm pretty sure when it's actually been there. It feels like it's defunct, but it's not.
I know.
Just because
I know.
There's a few coasters where it's like it feels that way, but they're not. Like Boomerang at Knott's, it feels like that thing doesn't even exist, and it does. So it's just weird. Tigress's soundtrack at Busch Gardens Tampa.
I haven't heard that yet, so when I get down there.
Do you prefer Giga or floorless coasters? Or I think that's supposed to be floorless coasters. Yes.
Okay. You know what, Giga? I know I'm in the minority here, but I'd much prefer speed of a ride over airtime. I mean, I love airtime, don't get me wrong, but if a coaster is very, very fast, it just gets my adrenaline flowing a lot more than say just something that was just nothing but airtime. I do love it. I do love airtime, but man, the speed on coasters, on Giga coasters, is amazing. So I love Millennium Force because of speed.
I think looking at the time, we'll answer like maybe like 2 or 3 more questions, and then I'm
Okay,
gonna pretty much wrap it up here.
sure.
So with that being said, Worlds of
What song? It was "Whole Lot
oh,
of Love," Lee,
okay,
from Led Zeppelin.
nice. That won't be one of the questions. Worlds of Fun or Valley Fair? Actually, this might be the last one if nothing else comes up.
um, Probably Worlds of Fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I've been to that park more than Valley Fair, so that's probably why.
never been, but that seems to be that seems to be um, I guess for people who've been to both, that seems to be about right. That's what people feel. Dragster or Millennium Force?
Oh, okay. For intensity and speed, Millennium or Dragster, but Millennium Force, I know it gets a lot of flack, but that was one of the coasters I got to see being built and learn about before it was even like built. And I did a lot of like video shoot things on that. So I got over 100 rides on it before the closing day of opening year, mainly because of that reason. So I feel like I've kind of bonded with that ride. So for nostalgic reasons, Millennium Force, but Dragster is no joke, man.
I guess if for me, I do prefer Dragster, but and that's my number 2 at Cedar Point. So only
Nice.
Steel Vengeance ahead. Um, and yeah, looks like that's all the questions.
Okay.
So okay, one more came in. We'll answer this. This will be the real last one. I did say 3 questions, and yeah,
Okay.
that's about right. Goliath or Titan, and I think they mean the Gaio Vanilla Goliath.
Right. Oh man. So I rode Titan at night a few months ago, and it was unbelievable. That was actually my 500th coaster. Whatever year that was when it opened.
Wow.
Goliath, though, I owe an awful lot to because that is the coaster that I was selected to do my first play-by-play for one of the Discovery Channel, Learning Channel
Ooh,
type
awesome.
things. And because I did it on that, is when Cedar Point asked me to do one on Millennium Force, and because I did one on Millennium Force, it just piled up. So definitely, I'm gonna have to go with Goliath, the original Giovanola Hyper. So
Something's being printed randomly. Huh. I
I
guess
heard
someone
it.
wanted to print something. So that's the noise in the background if you guys hear that.
Okay.
But yeah, I am not the biggest fan of Goliath. I haven't ridden Titan. Um, I know like it has to basically have that mid course because if it didn't, it would be literally like insane. But they pretty much slow it down almost to a complete absolute like stop. So it's just
See,
not what it used to
I
be.
haven't ridden it like that. I've only ridden it when it would kind of go through pretty quick. So
Yeah, it's
that's
not.
I'll ride it again, but I'm sure I won't like it as much. But oh, thank you, Theme Park Horizons. I appreciate that.
Alrighty, so I think that'll pretty much wrap up the stream.
Okay.
So, thank you, Sean, for coming on. It was awesome
Oh,
having you on here.
yeah, thank you for asking me. This was great. This was a lot of fun, man. So thank you and everyone that chimed in. I appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you all for watching, guys. And so, with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you guys.